Hola Madridistas, welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. We are here to do something different, a bit different that, we actually had an in-house conversation regarding this, basically to do this as a recurring thing. But um, we thought, there is no better matchup to kick this off than El Clásico, where so many greats of the game has come and gone by. Um, even the players that are gonna lace up their boots for tomorrow, they clearly walks into all-time 11s. Some may walk into the world 11 at the moment. The amount of talent on show is not of a question. Um, it is purely going to be man versus man tomorrow night, and the stakes are high, and the greatest showdown on earth uh, basically reckons. Welcome back again.
Hola Madridistas, welcome back to yet another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. And it's a special episode indeed. As you've been seeing in our lead up towards El Clasico, we're doing something different. We're talking to a lot of people, we're talking to enemy lines, so to speak. And today we have somebody special. I'll get to them in a minute. But before that, I need to check in with my boys. As you can see, Farooq and Sunaid are both here. How is the panel doing? How are you, Sunaid?
Excited is the word. Buzzing.
Let's
Can't wait for
go.
tomorrow.
Let's go. Farooq, how are you feeling, man?
Yeah, man. I mean, Snake took the words straight out of my mouth, man. We're buzzing, man. We're just flying high. I know, man. I hope tomorrow, just adds more adrenaline, more pump, man.
Let's
Yeah, let's do
go.
this.
Let's go. Yeah, today we're joined by somebody special who is doing their first ever live podcast with their face cam on. Yes, guys, it's the face reveal of Blaugrana TV. Please give it up for Nico. Welcome, man. How are you today?
Thanks, guys. I'm doing good, man. Thank you guys for having me on. I've been wanting to do a podcast for a while now, and this should be good.
Let's go. But before we get into all the content, Nico, can you introduce yourself to our audience today? Just give us a
Yeah,
little.
for sure. For sure, yeah. My name is Nico. I've been running Blaugrana TV for over 4, 5 years now, and yeah, I'm just really looking forward to El Clasico, and yeah, should be a lot of fun.
Well. I mean, I can already see that the live is buzzing. We have our viewers, we have commenters, guys. If you are new here, please subscribe. It helps us. It's just one button, and I had to draw this up because of because last video. Do you know what happened last video? I checked the analytics and I saw that only 40% of our viewers are subscribed. So if you're part of the 60%, please consider subscribing and help us get to that 1K ASAP. If you're new here, please. Now to hand off to the content, I'll give it to the expert on the panel. Sunaid, please take it away.
I'm no expert, just getting it out there.
Sure,
But
sure.
welcome on the panel, Nico. It's an absolute pleasure. You know, like it is truly special that you're actually making your debut with us. But especially since our schedules couldn't meet up yesterday, I was feeling it might not
Yeah.
happen. But now that you're here, it feels like we can do promising stuff, hopefully in the future, in the near future. But so this episode is basically an unbiased level. if you look up the definition of unbiased, it wouldn't probably sit right with us because we'll be clearly biased. But it is an attempt. I repeat, it is an attempt to actually put together a lineup that we kind of agree upon and have enough and we have enough evidence personally and with stats to back it up. People speak about stats too much these days, in my opinion, and for me, at least for me personally, it's all about the eye test. And um, like in my opinion, no matter how inflated your stats are, unless you pass my eye check, you are not good. So I'm someone who doesn't give out world-class tags to players often. I'm no pundit on an expert or anything, but it's just how I feel. In general, the quality of football has dropped off, actually fallen off a cliff, in the last 10 years. But it is what it is. El Clásico is not the same. It used to be so much more fiery. It used to have so much more star power and in the teams. But this is a new era. We can all agree that this is a new era for both sides. We actually discussed about this on the preview, mentioning that this is a revolution versus evolution. Do you agree to it, Nico? On our side, it is basically an evolution, but on Barca's side, basically Xavi is trying to evoke a revolution.
Yeah, I would agree because we've gone through sort of like a revamp period where we've changed practically everything from like the top to the bottom.
Mm,
But Real have just continued to, even though they've had like a down season or two, they've still continued to climb the ladder without having to break everything to start up again. You know what I mean?
fair point. Fair point. Um, but do you think that this revolution is much harder than what people thought initially,
Oh yeah,
especially Xavi,
yeah,
who was
for
getting
sure.
himself into this?
Yeah, for sure. Because I feel like people went into this whole thing expecting we'll be back in a season, two tops. It's not that fast. It's not that easy. We are one of the biggest clubs on earth, but it doesn't just happen like that. You
Mm,
need time, and um, we kind of got ourselves into a little bit of a problem this year, considering all the financial levers we pulled, hoping that this would be the season we go to the next level again. I'm afraid that we are out of the Champions League group stage now, but
mm.
so that definitely puts a damper on the season as a whole. So we're gonna see.
I'm going to ask you a question that you may not like, right? So, um, is it is it the performances that bother you, or the amount of levers,
So the amount of what?
the amount of levers that you
Oh, the
guys pull?
levers.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that doesn't really bother me because all in all, I think that the club did what they had to do. I think that
Mm-hmm.
the levers are a bit overhated. Like people
Mm-hmm.
didn't really fully take into account the financials of it. Um, but yeah, the performances have really been frustrating to watch this season. I don't think we've had more than two, three good games.
Mm-hmm.
That's
But
also that's also another problem, right? I mean, the kind of expectation that you have on the club that you love and the kind of
Yeah,
performances that you expect them to deliver, and when they fall short, it goes back to the whole lever thing, and there's a whole lot of discussion there, which is always amusing to see because it's not happening to us, but also honestly painful. It is what it is.
I mean, I didn't.
I was one of the biggest advocates to kind of push Lewandowski to Barcelona. If Farouk remembers, right, last season, and you guys were asking me like, why do you want Lewandowski joining Barcelona? It's going to hurt us. But I wanted Barca back to their best so that we are going to be pushed to be even
Yeah,
better, which is actually happening. But you basically said that there were only like a couple of good performances, but the stats and the table doesn't lie. You have the best defensive record in La Liga, just a single goal conceded. But I also read that you have an expected chances conceded. I think that is the term, X something. I forgot. Expected
Yeah.
chances conceded is 5+ or something like that, which basically uh, showcases that you guys have been riding your luck for quite a bit this season. But do
Absolutely.
you think
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, but do you think the injuries like has had a major part, or is it just overblown, especially to the
I think
defenders?
it has had a major part, but yeah, yeah, no, I think it has had a major part because Araujo and Kunde were our two best defenders, and then Christensen was our third best defender, and he also got injured. So it's really tough to have to deal with all that. But I think as a whole, like you said, our defensive record is very misleading, I'd say,
Mm,
because Ter Stegen has really shown up this season.
mm,
He's been
mm.
back to his best, I would say, especially in the league, and he's been covering for a lot of the defensive mistakes that we've been making. I haven't been too impressed with like the whole defensive structure and setup as
Mm,
a whole, which is why I
mhm.
think it can be very misleading as to how good our defense really is.
That actually makes a
The-
lot of sense because Courtois did the same for us last season. We
Yeah,
had a shaky backline, or at least for parts of the game, parts of the season, and yeah, I think it makes sense.
and
Thibaut
that's
bailed us out big time, but
I mean,
that's
that's the thing, that's what separates an average player from a brilliant player. For example, a striker will have an XG of let's say 0.5, and he scored 3 goals in a game. You understand? A
mm,
goalkeeper will have an XG against of 5, and he has a clean sheet. So that's what separates, for example, the Champions League final. That's what separates, the very good players from the bang average ones. And to be honest, like although Ter Stegen had a shitty couple of seasons, I think right now he is rightly back among the very best in the world.
I honestly thought he was washed up,
Yeah,
a couple of years ago. I honestly thought like he has dropped off so much that
all
he is so cocky
so
that
many
he.
goals conceded like out of nowhere. It was scary
Yeah.
for us for Barca.
Mm, mm,
as a Barca fan, I've been one of his biggest critics for the past couple of years, but this
mm.
season he has really turned up. And I was gonna say I was so jealous of Real last season for having Courtois. What like a game changer he is. He's a
Mm,
huge difference maker.
mm. Do you think Lunin has it in him to kind of, be a placeholder for tomorrow, basically?
I honestly don't think so. Like in the few games that I've seen, I don't think
Mm,
he's been like the guy that can fill in Courtois' gloves.
mm,
But I guess we'll see. I mean, El Clásico is when some of the most random players can show up
yeah.
on the occasion. So
Mm. El Clásico, like you rightly mentioned, is a match where form goes out of the window. But
yeah,
before we get into it, like one final question to you, Nico. What is your expectation basically this season? And has it changed over the course of the last 2 months? Basically, all this
oh yeah,
Champions League mess up and
yeah,
whatnot.
yeah. Well, at the beginning of the season, I was just hoping we could reach the quarterfinals
Hmm.
of the Champions League and
Hmm.
win La Liga,
Hmm.
because after the summer we had, that is a fair expectation to have.
Of
But
course.
unfortunately, we got placed in the group of death.
Yeah.
The performances weren't good enough, and we didn't get what we wanted. So now I do consider the season to be somewhat of a failure already if we're knocked out. Even no matter what we do in the domestic competition, it's already been kind of disappointing a lot
Mm,
to go
mm.
into Europa League for the second time in 2 seasons. It's tough. It's tough.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Europa League is going to be not too shabby either this season because of the clear step up in levels of competition compared to the years gone by. There's going to be so many sides. People like Juventus who lost to Maccabi Haifa, if I'm not wrong, a couple of days ago. Things are looking peak across so many clubs in Europe, but I'll be honest,
Um,
go on, Farouk.
Before you go on, Sven, I was just gonna pose a question to Nico. Actually, I just want to get his take on it as well. Like, why is it that Barcelona are struggling so much in Europe this year? For example, we talked about considering 1 goal in La Liga, and we have them considering I think 6 goals in 3 matches against Inter and Bayern. And when you go back, I was actually reading a stat. Yes, I think it was Sinead who
Yeah.
shared with someone. Like Barca has victories against only Pilsen and Dynamo Kiev in the past 2 years in the Champions League. Like it's
Past
so mind
13 games,
blowing.
2 wins. Last
Like it's
13
so
games, 2 wins.
exactly, like it's so mind blowing to be honest, considering the fact that I mean Inter is seventh in Serie A. Last year I think they came up against Benfica and so on and so forth. Like
Yeah.
it's such an intriguing thing. I don't know what's your take on it. Why do you think that's happening?
I think the fact that the 4 captains continue to start in Europe with all like the traumas that they've suffered over the years, like Bayern, Anfield, all those, I think it's taken a massive toll on them. And also the fact that they're at the end of their career pretty much is taking a huge toll on them and the team as a whole, which is why I hope that this season will be the final one for all 4 of them.
Can you name the 4 horsemen?
Oh no.
Yeah. Well, Alba, who at the moment isn't even starting. Piqué, who even though he's our 5th choice center back, we had to start him because of how many injuries. Busquets and Sergio Roberto.
Roberto wasn't too shabby, when I
He
saw him
wasn't too
against
bad, but
Inter.
I just think, yeah, he wasn't too bad. I just think that we need to lose him and also Bellerin's contract's up at the end of the year to really push ourselves to hopefully finally sign a big name right back because
Mm.
that, along with a defensive midfielder, is 2 of the positions that we really need to sign big on.
Mm. So like you're clearly given up on Busquets because some people haven't apparently.
I I was kind of indifferent about him, but
Mm.
after the Inter game, I think most of the fan base kind of shifted their opinion to like this has to be the final season for
Mm.
all 4 of them, pretty much.
Mm. That's the thing, like in La Liga, people get too intimidated by Barcelona. They tend to sit back, which gives Busquets the time and space to kind of dictate the game. But in Europe,
Yeah,
when people are in your faces,
yeah,
I think
precisely.
he doesn't have what it takes to, like combat it. But uh, that pushed to the side, I'm pretty sure we'll be getting into the personnel as we kind of go through the lineup. So Farouk, if you're good to go, let's start with the goalkeepers then. You know, I mean, it's an unfair comparison. It is a disclaimer before we even get into this. Andre Ter Stegen is a veteran of the game. He has been there, done that, seen everything. Won Champions Leagues, multiple leagues. Um, on the other hand, Lunin is someone who has been kind of thrust into this situation whereby no one saw this coming. Nobody would have expected Thibaut to be sidelined for almost 3 weeks now, and Lunin to be given center stage, basically between the sticks. Before we get into the comparison, Nico, do you think that a position like goal like such a um, such a complicated position like a goalkeeper is basically reserved best for more experienced heads rather than young guns, in your opinion?
Yeah, yeah, I'd say so because I think to be a goalkeeper, especially at a top elite club in Europe, you have to be very
Mm,
mentally resilient to be able to deal with because I feel like they get most of the blame when
mm,
sometimes it is misguided. So that's why I feel like keepers tend to get better as they age, up until a certain, of course, but keepers are usually at their prime 30, past 30.
past 30 for sure, for sure. um so if we actually go through it, the games played, he has played just 2 games, and I don't think he has a clean sheet, right? Does he have a clean sheet? He has a clean
He
sheet,
does,
right?
yeah. His debut was a clean sheet, which was a big change of pace from
Was his
from
debut a
to
clean sheet
go.
or the second game against Getafe?
No,
Was
no,
it
no, no. It was the second game. His debut was not a
Oh,
clean sheet.
okay.
Yeah, yeah,
second game against Getafe was a
Ah,
clean
okay,
sheet,
yeah.
okay.
Oh yeah, his first game was against Osasuna, right?
which was a draw.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
What?
that was a Suna one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what?
You
Can't
look at
even
the
blame him for
save
that goal
percentage
though.
of Ter Stegen, which is insane. I don't understand how you can make.
It's incredible.
95.24% for our audio listeners from Marc-Andre ter Stegen compared to 75% from Lunin. I mean, Lunin's played just 2 games, whereas ter Stegen's played 8. But then that doesn't take away from the fact that ter Stegen is having a blinder of a start of a season, or at least a start to the season.
Saves made 20. Saves made from inside the box 15. That's insane, you know, the
Incredible.
amount of like I don't know what he's on.
That's why I think
Hmm.
even if Courtois was fit, I think it would be still a debate we had, which is something that I'm so glad I could be saying after 2 years of Ter Stegen performing poorly. But I think that the form he's on currently, you could debate that he's been the best keeper in the top 5 leagues, at least in league form.
Actually,
Mm.
very easily, yeah. I just, I hate agreeing to it, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Even I
I mean,
couldn't
I
go
can't pick
on.
it apart. I can't pick that argument apart. So Stegen's
Mm.
been amazing this season.
exactly, man. I mean, the save percentage says a lot, man, and also like the man's conceded just 1 league goal, man. So I mean, you gotta give credit where it's due.
And he has been a huge part. You know how goalkeepers are basically designed to be in a Real Madrid or Barca team. Basically, they are left for their own. They have next to no backup. Basically, they have to be the sole fall guy on more than one occasion per game. So, yeah, man. Big up Ter Stegen. I guess he's finally back to his very best.
Hopefully.
So it's an agreement that he is the undisputed goalkeeper for this combined 11, unbiased 11, right? Everybody agrees on it.
Yeah, I'd say
So
Yes,
Farouk,
unanimous,
yeah,
That's
unanimous.
very unanimous.
you could just, yeah, Mats, yeah,
Mats.
that's enough. That's enough. That's enough.
I mean, if we're gonna write Marc-Andre ter Stegen, man, we're just gonna have to put the whole screen like that.
I feel you. Yeah, so that's out of the way. It was pretty easy, pretty straightforward, considering there wasn't much of a debate between Mats and Lonan. But moving on to the defense, this is where it kind of gets complicated. So before we kind of debate who gets into what position, Nico, walk us through the list of defenders who are available for selection tomorrow. Nico? Is Nico gone?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, just lagged for a second. Sorry.
Oh, your
No.
internet froze. Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
okay.
guess. Nico, I was asking you basically walk us through the defenders that are available for selection tomorrow so that we can kind of discuss.
Yeah, well, for left back, we've got quite a few options, but I think the only one that's worth mentioning is Balde. I think he could have a shout in there. Alonso has been poor. I think he's been pretty much up to the expectations.
Why
of
was
every
he
fan.
why was he deployed
He's
at centre back, Alonso, against
Injuries, I
Inter?
guess.
your guess is as good as mine. I honestly don't know.
It doesn't make sense.
None of it made sense to me. None of it made sense to me.
Sorry to interrupt you. Just go on. So Alonso,
Yeah.
Balde.
Yeah. Alonso, Balde, and Alba for left back, and then center back we have Piqué, Garcia, and now Koundé's back, and then for right back we have Sergio Roberto. But yeah, I think the only ones that could have a shout in there would be Balde and Koundé. To be honest, they're the only ones that could be debated.
Balde and Koundé. Well, this is the interesting bit. Let's bring up Balde and Mendy, Farouk. There you go. Yeah, Opta Performance Index 57 to 77. I don't understand what are the metrics for the
Yeah,
performance
me neither.
index, but I guess it is basically based on how effective you are to the way your team plays, basically. And I can say Mendy has been not as imperious as he has been in the past. But Balde, whenever I've seen him, has been the sole bright spot, in an otherwise lackluster
Yeah.
performances. Like tell us about Balde. How has his introduction to the Barcelona first team been like?
He's been honestly a huge revelation, and
Mm.
it comes as a great surprise to me because I've always thought that he had the potential, but even in the B team, he wasn't showing great signs of improving. He looked very raw. But I think somehow the jump to the first team made him so much better, so much mature, so much improved all around.
He's so young as well, you know. It's a big difference maker of a player. For somebody so young to come into the Barca team and do what
He's
he
he's he's
is
18 years
consistently
of
doing.
age.
Yeah,
Mm.
crazy.
Yeah,
And to outperform Ferland Mendy, who's one of our players from the UCL tie who were instrumental in
same.
us winning it, you know. To outperform Ferland Mendy, props, man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I think
To
Nico's
bench to
network is
bench
moving
Jordi
mad.
Alba in his first season.
Actually, yeah.
Is it?
Nico, can you is it okay if he goes out and comes back in? Probably that might fix the lag. Like he has severe lag on his end.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Sure, I could do that. Sorry about that, guys.
No
No, it's
problem,
all good.
man.
It's all good.
It's all good. Take your time.
I know it might mess up the frame and stuff, but it is better
Yeah, it is what
if
it is, you know. It's okay.
yeah.
Then again,
Um,
I mean, I would still push for Ferland Mendy because he's a big game player. Balde, on the other hand, is inexperienced. He's young. There's more tendency to make a mistake. Therefore,
how do you,
I would prefer left back Ferland Mendy on top
Farooq?
of
How
his
do you
game.
rate Mendy's attacking prowess? Basically, like, do you think he is a hindrance to when we are in the final third, especially this season?
I don't think he's a hindrance per se because the point is that for all of Vinicius's flourishing and development, he's
Mm.
only able to do that because of the platform that Mendy provides him. So that's the thing. Like Mendy has created a sync perfectly with Vini Jr. where he doesn't because the thing is maybe because we're used to Marcelo in the past, but what used to happen was that Ronaldo used to drift in and Marcelo used to have all the space for himself. But
Yeah.
Vini is a more traditional winger who would hog the line. So like he needs someone to provide a platform for him to do what he will do. But even saying that, to be honest, like this season, Mendy has dropped a bit because even you could see on the stats we're seeing right now, like for example, imagine like uh, the amount of what's it called, the balls he has lost. It's also quite a lot to be honest, in my opinion. Like although Balde has more, I would say like he has less because he's played less as well and less minutes. But like then that's a very staggering number to be honest, in my opinion. So I would say that's not good enough. And then also the ball recoveries we're seeing there as well. So that's also a number that, although it's not very far from Balde, but I mean I would expect, given that Mendy's a more experienced player like you'll be expecting more from him, in my opinion.
Can you scroll a bit down and last men, tackles made, take-ons completed, fouls conceded, clearances and more interceptions, goals conceded 5. Yeah, that is the big, because Mendy is not basically the guy who should be blamed for us conceding goals. It is the centre backs in my opinion, but well, a man of his experience should be doing, like you said, rightly said, so much better. But I've been used to this for so many years. I've been telling people to actually brace themselves because we always tend to start the season slow. And like we have always discussed, we don't get into full stride until February. But Ferland and Balde. So
I mean, but you're kind of like countering the whole point. The point is Real Madrid didn't start the season slow. We start the season out of the blocks. We've been
this season is an
outperforming, I
exception.
would say.
This season is an exception. That's what I'm telling you. So brace yourselves to actually kind of be stuck up on reality checks, because
But that's the
I
thing.
knew
I
for a
actually
fact.
told you guys before. I am someone who's seen Carlo Ancelotti go on a too much winning streak, which was ended in December. So I'm
Yeah.
saying, like, for me, this is nothing new. This is not Zidane. I get you. With Zidane, it starts the season slow. You understand? But this is not Zidane. This is Carlo. He starts the season slow and he goes mid-season and the players burn out, similar to what happened. We got out against Juventus in the Champions League and shit happens. You understand? So that's the thing. Like, for me, I'm kind of worried about the opposite, not starting the season slow, but finishing the season slow, in my opinion. But then let's see how it goes.
Let's see how it goes, I guess. But we need to get a vote. I mean, Yadu is not here. I don't know where he is, but
Before we get a vote, I want to add someone to the list.
okay. Who is it? Who is it? Alaba.
Yeah.
Alaba left back? Really? Okay. I don't fancy him there. I don't know what the hype is of him playing left back anymore. He used to be good when he was younger, but
I think
I mean, the point is
kind of team.
exactly it depends on the kind of team you're playing with as well. But I I just feel like, in my opinion, for me personally, like, I'm not very satisfied with either Balde or Mendy. I would rather go with David Alaba, but as you know, it's just open. I'm just trying to place it out there as well to be open to the floor for discussion, and let's all discuss and decide who we want to go with.
he has the most ball recoveries because he has been deployed as a center back. So you can't.
That's the thing. You don't know how much of these stats is from left back.
This is probably
then,
from center back.
Yeah, I mean, assists, true balls, what is and what is not. So you can you can see that as well. So because I think he started a couple of games as left back this season as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, just couple. That's see, out of the 8, just 2. So it is not the right comparison, because he has been.
I definitely wouldn't be. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be against Alba left back. It's just I don't think he's had enough games this season in that
At left back,
position to be fully considered.
especially in La Liga.
Like
so
yeah, I think like Farouk was saying, it depends on the opposition that Real's playing. I feel like if you're playing against a low block opposition,
Alaba is much more better.
Yeah, and then if you're playing against a big team with a higher line, Mendy's the guy. Like in the Champions League final, other Champions League games as well, like that.
Definitely.
But so we got to make a decision, right? So Balde and Mendy. I would personally have to pick Balde. I've been so impressed with the kid. It is not easy. It is not easy in a team that is going through such a huge transition period, with everybody's eyes on them. The jury is still out, so it's high stakes for such a young kid to actually come in and excel. And I don't even think there are proper leaders in your dressing room to actually kind of guide this kid, because everybody is basically shell shocked by what has been happening all throughout the last 2 years. So Balde is definitely one to look out for. Is he Spanish? Is he Spanish?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Spanish. Yeah.
Farouk, what do you think?
Enrique will call him, but that would be. I don't think Luis Enrique would call him for Spain, but that would be interesting. But I doubt it, since he's never played for him before.
I mean, he can get called for the friendlies, because like there's gonna be a couple of friendlies before the World Cup starts. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. Like the Barca hype train is very, very strong with Luis Enrique.
Since Yadu is not here, we should just decide on the left back. I go with Balde.
For me, it's Alaba. I'm gonna choose David Alaba. Sorry, Nico, you said Balde as well?
Yeah, I think I go for Balde.
Okay then. So we have a winner then. So we have for our left back, we have Balde. Okay, that's done.
Let's move on to LCB, left centre back, which is where your guy comes in, Alaba, who has been at left back for Barcelona. I know Araujo plays right centre back. It's Koundé, right? Left centre back? Or is it
Yeah, usually it could be Kule, it could be but I think especially now with Araujo out, it'll probably be Kunde right center back and then Garcia left center back now.
Oh, Garcia is left centre back. My bad. It's Eric
Yeah,
Garcia.
yeah.
Eric Garcia.
He's had a pretty quietly good season. I think just he did have a pretty big blunder against Inter as well.
Inter, yeah.
I think he's been pretty quietly good, just not as good as
I've always
Alex
questioned
was.
why Xavi, consistently, goes with Eric Garcia, especially considering the fact that he is not exactly an old school defender. He's still young, but he makes so many mistakes, so many calamitous errors that has cost you dearly. So
Yeah.
I've always questioned that, but when I see him actually play the game, he seems very composed. But why do you think, for someone who looks so composed, he is prone to those kind of catastrophic errors from time to time? Like, what is your kind of?
Some center backs just have that in them, like a mistake every now and then. But I think on the ball, he is one of the most composed and best ball playing center backs there is. It's just that defensively, he's not been up to par. I think this season he has taken quite a leap, just not up there with like the Araujos, the Koundés, the Christensens for us. I think so far he's still fourth choice, but he's still a pretty good option. Just not.
Should we put Christensen into this mix as well? Can we? How many players can we add, Farouk?
No, unfortunately, Christensen still.
He's still injured. But how many players can you add on
three,
one?
Total of three, maximum of three.
Maximum of three. Okay, fair. So let's just go by LCB first.
Rudiger has played left center back for you guys too, no?
He has.
Yeah.
Has he played? Yeah, Militao is usually right center back. I think so. Yeah, Rudiger has played left center back. He's pretty good. He has been good. Should we add Rudiger?
You'd like?
Well, is Rudiger fit for the game?
They say he is fit for the game, but I don't think he's starting. Do you think he's starting, Farouk?
No, I don't think so.
He wouldn't be starting.
I think that's the whole point of playing on Wednesday, actually. Or was it Tuesday?
What do you mean by that?
I mean, that's the whole point of playing him, so he's not going to play this game. Or rather, he's not going to start this game.
That's a bit harsh. Some people actually prefer Rudiger, because Barca has a very high press, and he, like in many people's opinion, he is the better suited to actually beat a press, carry the ball forward.
I'm not saying that as a detriment to Rudiger's play ability as a footballer. I'm actually just saying like this is what Carlo has said over and over again. Like he's starting centre backs are the way Champions League winning centre backs. In my opinion, if you ask me, I'll actually shift Alaba to the fullback position and play both these two guys together. Although I have my reservations about them, I just want to see how they will go across time. Playing both Militao and Rudiger, I think, in my opinion, it's just a madhouse. It's just going to be purely.
Rudiger and Nacho seems like a very, very solid pairing. They complement each other so well.
Valid, yeah.
Do you rate Nacho, Nico?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think he's such a unique player in that he's been at Real for a long time, not necessarily a starter for over long periods of time, but he's been very quietly good, very, very good, I think.
For someone who doesn't play that much football, whenever he comes on, he gives off a solid 7 or an 8 more often than not.
That's you can always expect at least a 7 from Nacho. That's the kind of player he is.
He is very, very underrated. But so these are our main options we have for LCB, you say, right? Eric Garcia from Barca.
Yeah.
And obviously,
exactly.
Alaba from us. Is there a debate here?
No,
Really?
I think it's a no-brainer. Has to be Alaba.
Farooq, let's get it underway. Eric Garcia, hopefully he has to come through. He has to come through. The
Yeah.
amount of expectation that is being put up on this kid is too much. And he's actually being put under, too much scrutiny, in my opinion. Like
Yeah, I
um
agree.
Xavi should be giving him enough leeway to develop, man. This
Yeah,
is too much.
yeah.
Develop what? What is he
Again,
developing?
Yeah, he is
defensive
a far
capabilities.
he is a very harsh critic of Eric Garcia, Farouk.
I mean, the point is this, to
Yeah,
be honest. Like I said yesterday, like Eric Garcia is the Morata of defenders. He doesn't have to prove
mm,
jack shit.
yeah.
He has a very good agent who has very good connections, and he's gonna leave Barca tomorrow, and then he's gonna go to Chelsea or Arsenal or Milan or something like that. He's gonna leave
Yeah.
that and he's gonna go to Atletico Madrid or Sevilla, and then he's gonna just keep changing between the big teams across Europe. So these guys don't need to prove jack shit, man. There are some people who are just, it's their destiny to play professional football. There's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah.
He was actually saying that he can do a better job at center back than which I, almost half
Yeah.
agreed to him, but it is what it is. It is what it
Yeah.
is.
But
But
on Alaba, I think he's definitely my favorite defender that you guys have. Absolutely. Like when he was confirmed that he was going to be leaving Bayern, I was
Yeah.
such a big advocate for Barca signing him because I knew it was
mm,
between Real and Barca, and he
mm.
would have been absolutely perfect even now for the left center back position. Absolutely perfect.
It is
I
about his
actually was I was
versatility.
scared about him going to Barcelona, to be honest. I really
Yeah,
was.
Oh,
I really wanted, like, if he doesn't come to us, let him go to the Premier League, man. I didn't want it because he
yeah,
was
yeah,
like, actually, I think we discussed this with Sunaid a lot of times. Like, for David Alaba, it's not just about, the footballing activity ability, sorry. It's about what he brings, away from even playing the football, the
yeah,
dressing room, the level of leadership.
yeah.
We lost Sergio Ramos, and like, with all due respect to Ramos, like, it was like
No,
he
no, yeah,
didn't leave. Like, it was so, like the way he was, dealing with the youngsters
very
last
Alaba
year.
is so vocal, like whenever someone fucks up,
Exactly,
he's
exactly,
in their face telling them, you got to step it up.
exactly,
So he's
exactly,
very, very
exactly.
straightforward. I
Yeah,
like it. I
yeah,
like it.
he has been one of your best signings in years. One of the best signings in
Mm.
years.
definitely. I
On a
totally
free too. On
consider.
a free too. Let's get that
I
in
Exactly.
as
mean,
well.
Like, yeah.
so considering that the other signings are Jovic and Hazard, I think there is no even competition.
Your 2 cents on Hazard, Nico. Do you think there's a
Okay.
chance he's
Okay,
coming
now
back?
we've given Sunay
Yeah.
the chance. We've given Sunay the chance to shit on
Because
Hazard.
I need my daily Hazard,
Yeah.
dosage of Hazard.
Yeah, no. It's tough, but I think there's I don't think he's gonna be able to return to his best, to be honest.
mm, mm. Well, that was a very subtle take on it. I expected
Yeah,
you
to put
to,
it to put it
slice them up,
I don't
but
wanna yeah, I don't wanna hate on him too much. I just don't think he'll become or get even close to the Hazard we saw at Chelsea.
mm. Well, we have been banging on that drum for a couple of years now, but
Yeah.
I don't think the people, the management uh, at Real Madrid think that, he's basically done. But let's move on to RCB. So we have Militao um, from the Real Madrid side, and from your side, from Barca. Walk us through.
Yeah, I think Piqué is definitely not even gonna be an option. I hope he doesn't start tomorrow. The
If
only
he starts, we'll have an
possible
easier day.
safe to say, definitely safe to say. But I think Kunde could perform really well. I hope. He's just coming back from injury as well, but
Kunde, right. I
Yeah.
was a huge fan of Kunde at Sevilla. Um,
same,
he, in my opinion,
absolutely,
is the modern prototype of a all-round center back. He is not,
literally.
yeah, he's not lanky enough to be a slow poke, neither short
Mhm.
enough to be Eric Garcia. You get the gist, right? He's the perfect blend of everything that you need in a modern center back. He's quick, he's extremely smooth on the ball. He has good aerial ability. Surprisingly, he has a
Surprisingly, yeah.
super, yeah, he has a very good leap for someone his size, you know. And hey, man, like if you if you can actually keep him fit and keep him motivated, he is bound to outperform Araujo, in my opinion.
Oh
You
yeah,
know.
yeah, I think so. He was my dream center back signing for years, like at least two,
Mm,
3 years.
mm,
So when we finally signed him this summer, I couldn't believe it. Like it was
mm.
such the whole saga was unreal, but I couldn't believe we signed him.
Come on, man. Like, honestly, I don't think any other club in the situation Barcelona was in would be able to pull off signings like Conte,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
So Laporta needs to be given credit, even if it
absolutely.
involved basically selling away a bit of your future. Conte,
Yeah,
Conte is basically a signing that is guaranteed to perform. You know, he's not
yeah,
someone that is gonna let you down.
yeah. There's
But
no doubt about it.
mm, uh, give us your thoughts on Militao. Like, do you rate him? Do you think
Oh
that
yeah,
he has
yeah,
potential?
for sure. As
Mm.
well, me personally, I'm like my parents are Argentinian, so like I'm
Nice,
Argentinian.
nice,
So
nice.
Militao, I've seen him in games like that, like Argentina, Brazil, even other
Right,
Brazil games I've seen. He's been
right.
pretty good, and also for Real, he's been phenomenal.
Hmm.
He has had like a few moments, as like many center backs do, where he has had the like a blunder here and there.
Hmm.
But I think overall he's been great.
Mm. Like for someone his age, like even like we used to discuss it among our mates back in the day. He had a huge role to fill too,
Oh
basically.
yeah,
Yeah, being prepped as the guy, being prepped as the successor to Rafael Varane was never going to be easy. But in
yeah,
my opinion, even though he had a few blunders here and there, he has done, he has done his fair dues. Uh, to an extent in fulfilling Varane's
yeah.
role in the team. But yeah, Farouk and Yadu, like who do you think walks into our unbiased El Clasico 11 at right centre back?
Personally, I'd lean towards either Militao, just not because I think he's a better footballer, but because of the fitness of Jose Koundé itself. He's just played 3 matches and he's just coming back from injury.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, Nico, it's going to be his first game back from injury as well, right? So based on that, I will just go with
Yeah, there's
either
no other
Militao.
backgrounds. Yeah,
Yeah, for me, it's not just taking fitness into account, but it's the stuff that Militao has been able to pull off in our backline. He's been strong. He can basically pair with anyone on his day, on
I
his
can
night.
guarantee Nico that Koundé wouldn't be able to do the
The stuff
somersault
that
and stand up maneuver that
the stuff
Militao
that
does. If you have seen him,
exactly,
he
exactly.
basically, if
yeah,
you haven't seen it, Nico, basically if he is falling over, he basically stands up erect at 90 degrees in like half a
It's
nanosecond,
mad. It's
basically.
mad. So yeah, the
yeah,
stuff that Militao consistently pulls off for our backline, just
yeah. No,
and his
he's
ability to just pair with anybody in the backline just makes him a naturally my selection. For
yep.
even if it's unbiased, I'm leaning towards Militao a little bit more compared to Kunde. I'd put Militao on my
Hmm.
team, just taking away all my
Yeah, look at the clean
biases.
sheets. Konde has only played 3 games. He has 3 clean sheets, which goes to show, how unlucky our back line is. I mean, it's not unlucky. It is basically being erratic at the back. We are so
Unforced errors. It just
yeah, it's
comes out
basically
of
unforced
nowhere and
errors.
just
Mm,
yeah, just
Yeah,
cucks the
that's a
whole
pretty
game
good way
for
of
us.
putting it.
So
mm. Well, we all know for a fact that when it comes to these two players and their legacies, Kunde has a long way to go at Barcelona, and I'm pretty sure in 2 years these guys will be here. I'm very
oh,
confident that
absolutely, yeah.
even after
Yeah,
2 years they're going to be facing each other in Clásicos. But I'm pretty sure by then Kunde would have risen to a level where he is much more on par with how Militao's legacy is with us. But see, this whole voting thing kind of doesn't make sense because we are three guys representing Real Madrid and it's Nico just representing Barca. I I repeat, I want you guys to be unbiased, yeah,
I
especially Farouk,
am. I
especially
am.
Farouk, especially Farouk.
No, I think they are.
I'm
I
just
think they
putting
are.
it
I
out
get
there.
their points. I I get their points. Yeah, no. I think especially since like Farouk mentioned Kunde hasn't played a lot and even when he has played, he's played mostly as a right back this season
Mm,
because originally we did have Araujo and Christensen available at center back, so we needed some guy to fill in at right back. And yeah, aside from that, I even bias aside because I thought this when he was at Sevilla, Jules Koundé for me is and was the best center back in Spain, or at least my favorite. I think overall he's just the ideal center back, like you said, in the modern age. But yeah,
mm.
I'll go for Militao.
So it's Militao, I guess, for now.
So
I wouldn't say Militao is a better center back than Kunde, they are kind of similar. Kunde looks much more composed as a total package, but there is still a long way to go, especially
Yeah.
in Blaugrana colors for him. But moving on to right back, this is interesting. I mean, who was your starting right back before a ball was kicked this season, Nico?
I think the plan always was like even with the signing of Bellerin, the plan always was, which I didn't agree with because I personally hate playing players out of position. It was
Hmm.
going to be Kunde to
Hmm.
play right back, but
Hmm.
I really don't
I,
like
I
that
I
in
saw him
the
actually
first
line
team.
up as right back, and it boggled my mind like why does one of the
Yeah,
best center backs in the league play right back?
yeah, yeah, exactly. He can do it. He can do
Mm,
more than a fine job there.
mm,
It's just I've been dreaming of seeing Kunde and Araujo as the
mm.
center back duo for so long. But yeah.
But Bellerin, like, did it make sense when you heard that he's going to be signing on a free?
Oh, I'm not against his signing at all because overall, like the Alonso signing, it's just a 1 year deal, low
Yeah.
wages, like whatever, just for depth. Especially
Mm,
Bellerin more so because we didn't really have a natural right back. He's technically our
mhm,
only natural right back,
mhm,
but he like in his first game he didn't look very fit or like didn't feel very match fit, match ready,
mm,
and I just don't think he's gonna be like even an option,
mm.
much of an option to start.
Sergi Roberto is a guy who has had a storied Barcelona career, famously against PSG, although the ref basically helped him a fair bit on that night, but that is for another day. Um, but Sergi Roberto, as a player, has been not too shabby. Like he is he's natural light. I've always thought because he can play multiple positions. He can play in
Yeah.
midfield. He can cover on the wing, even at wing back. But walk us through your thoughts on Carvajal and his evolution from a youth product, basically laying out the stone for the Di Stefano Stadium um, a
Yeah.
good 15 years ago to now winning 5 Champions Leagues
Yeah.
and a future vice captain or captain
Yeah, no, his
for us.
story is legendary, and I really
Mm,
do rate Carvajal highly. I think he had a great career. The past couple seasons before this one, I thought he was rather inconsistent, also with
yeah.
injuries and stuff like that. But I think now this season he's proven to be pretty good so far.
Mm, mm.
I think he's been pretty good.
Mm. But let me ask you this, like from a neutral standpoint, like I mean, it's not entirely neutral. We hate each other. We just can't admit it
Yeah,
live.
yeah, yeah,
But like, do you buy into the Premier League hype about right backs? Like, honestly, I rate Reece James.
oh
He
yeah,
is he is a man of
he's
brute
spectacular.
force. Yeah,
He is
but
spectacular.
but someone like Trent, like, why do you think when Carvajal and Trent is mentioned in the same sentence, people over in Britain they scoff at it? Like, what do you think
Yeah, I know.
that is the case?
I think all you need to know about Premier League fans is that they compared Trent to prime Dani Alves. That's that's all you need to know. Like they're they've been they've had a lot of ridiculous takes, but that's probably the worst one. That's
I
probably the
mean,
worst one.
Danny Alves, like as good as I've seen Trent play some brilliant balls, like
Oh, of course, yeah.
he is really good. His greatest asset is his crosses basically,
Mm.
and diagonals into final third. But the amount of horror that Danny Alves has provided me, and how much he has scarred my childhood, man, I can't forgive him. I like Brazil, the national team, so I had kind of a subconscious rooting for Danny Alves, but he used to be a nightmare to play against. I
Yeah,
mean,
no, I can imagine.
like even when he was older, he was still a pain, you know.
Yeah.
So people comparing him to Danny Alves should actually get themselves tested, if
Especially
there's
just in the first couple of years of his career. Like, do they not realize how ridiculous that is?
I don't understand. I don't understand why people like Farouk can walk us through better because he has a slight inclination towards Klopp and Liverpool when it comes to PL.
I mean, the
No.
point is this: I totally get the reason why, like as Nico said, like it's pure foolish and absolute, bonkers to compare, Dani Alves, probably the greatest fullback to play the game. I think, in my opinion, even better than Roberto Carlos, like either left or right back, in my opinion. So the thing is this: it's very stupid to do that. But on the other hand, I can understand why people are comparing Danny Carvajal and Trent. Because the point is, as Nico also pointed out, as we know, for the past couple of seasons, Danny Carvajal has been really down, and Trent's
Hmm.
stock keeps rising and rising. You understand? So the point is, people is what people are seeing at this point in time. Because the point is, people have very fickle memories. They forget what happened, across the time. Obviously, across the
Yeah.
careers, who is a better player? For sure, Carvalho is a much more better player. Right now, who is a better player? Carvalho is a better player. But at certain points last season and the season before, who was a better player? I think Trent was a better player at certain points last year. But I can understand, why Nico is actually making the point he's making. And in my
But
opinion, I haven't seen a fullback like Trent ever in my life. I'm not saying he's the best, but I've only started watching football in 2006, 2007. But I haven't seen a fullback such as him, in my opinion. And I think that what he brings to the team surely outweighs the defensive lapse, in my opinion.
Yeah.
in my opinion, right, like even I started watching football like at least 3-4 years after you did, Farooq, right? But I've seen enough archive footage to tell you that there were better right backs than Trent, especially in defending. We all know that for a fact, but also in attacking. The amount of precision with which players like Cafu, players like Costa Curta used to play passes, they could do that. But in my opinion, Klopp's system and the way Liverpool plays gives Trent prime focus to be the protagonist to basically, control the entire right hand side and
I mean,
basically
for
facilitate.
example, let me just give you an example. For example,
Yeah.
João Cancelo played for Juventus, and he was a garbage footballer at Juventus. I saw a lot of games with João Cancelo, and he was garbage. He comes to the right system, and that's the thing. Like, obviously, not.
Mhm.
For example, Di Maria played for United for a year. It didn't work. You understand? So some players wouldn't work in certain systems. Some players will go and they will flourish in certain systems. So that happens. You understand? And the point is, Liverpool press so much that their midfielders are just athletes. They're not footballers. They have zero brain. With all due respect, they have zero brain. They're athletes. And what happens is you need someone who can play make. And I mean, the balls Trent gives, like, I mean, those are Beckham X balls, man. I swear, those are Beckham X balls, man. And I mean, the real Beckham, not the Real Madrid fake Beckham, the Beckham from United, the Beckham from '99. Those were fantastic balls. But like I said,
Yeah,
like, I
Nico,
mean, everyone
I
has.
told you, this guy is heavily inclined to Liverpool. Well, I'm not gonna reveal my alliances yet, but let's stop it at that for our sake. But Yadu, we need your opinion as well. Carvajal or Sergio Roberto? I mean, it's pretty easy.
I
It
mean,
isn't exactly.
yeah, even in my sleep, I'd say Kamahan. There's no question there. The
And especially people
Yeah.
watching or
No doubt.
listening to this afterward, this is entirely driven by who is available for selection, you know. So basically this is what we are at with Barcelona and their defensive woes at this moment. But I guess it is a unanimous vote
Yeah.
for Carvajal,
it is.
and he
Plus, if you want somebody
Yeah.
to represent you
Absolutely.
on the right back for attacking purposes, for defensive purposes, for running, as old as Carvajal is, he still puts in a shift. I just had to say it, you know.
mm,
He
Yeah.
gets more out of the team than Sergio Roberto currently does.
Yeah.
mm,
No doubt.
for sure, for sure. Sergio Roberto is part of the rotating options at Barcelona. Carvajal is a sure
Yeah.
shot starter.
Mhm.
But coming to
Yeah.
DM, for this formation, we have a single DM, right? Um,
I mean,
so
because the teams play 4-3-3, so I just do that. But if you want, we can change around the
Yeah.
formation depending
no,
on
no,
what you guys think.
a 4-3-3 is much more easier to play around with, you know.
4-3-3 is good. Yeah.
So from our side, we have Chouameni. Nico, how much do you think he has tried to kind of fill in for Casemiro? And did you expect his introduction to La Liga to go this smoothly, basically?
Yeah. No, I think for like Kunde for the last couple of years, I've been dreaming about Barca being able to sign Tchouaméni. I
Mhm.
thought he was the only young defensive midfielder in world football that could replace someone like Busquets.
You
He's
have someone who can
incredible.
replace him in Kessie. I don't understand why he doesn't play a
Yeah.
deep role under Xavi.
I don't personally think, yeah, I don't personally think De Jong or Kessié could be like the sort of lone pivot, but I think that an option that I've always voted for is Frankie and Kessié being a double
A
pivot
double
A
pivot, yeah.
double pivot that
yeah,
makes much more sense. It does.
right in behind Pedri. I think that would be spectacular to see. So I hope we do Sunday.
Mm, right. So Gavi isn't exactly a DM, so we can leave Gavi and
No.
Pedri out of this.
Yeah.
But it's
Hmm.
Chouameni. De Jong has played CDM. I can kind of understand, but whenever he has come on as a sub, he has been an eight, right, De Jong?
Yeah. Yeah. He's been pretty good. He's been
I
pretty
mean,
good.
I mean, he has been deployed as an eight, as an attacking midfielder rather than someone who is deep.
Yeah. Yeah. He's had like one or two appearances in defensive midfield this season, but I don't
Hmm.
think it'll be enough.
I mean,
Yeah. No.
this
On
might be
Tchouaméni.
a dumb question to ask, but Frankie De Jong is more of a holding player than Chomini is, right? Or am I mistaking it? You want somebody to hold the ball, pass it forward, and that's the role that Frankie De Jong usually does. Or am I just
Hmm.
talking shit?
Yeah. He could definitely do that. I just think that he is too. He's very. He's not exactly like Busquets, where he can be as composed and stay in his sort of position. Frankie likes
Mhm.
to push up. He's
Yeah.
not. He doesn't hold the midfield like Busquets does.
Hmm.
Even though Busquets hasn't been great, he is still our only option as like a holding lone pivot like that.
I'm gonna pose this to you, Nico. Though, like, I mean, we saw, De Jong at Ajax. Like, he was playing as a lone holding midfielder, if I'm mistaken.
Hmm.
Like, because he was playing with Lars Schöne and what's he called, the guy at United, Donny van de Beek.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, those were the three midfielders: Lars Schöne, Van de Beek, and Frankie De Jong. And like, I mean, none of them are like very defensive players, you could say. But like, I mean, because I always felt like, like Frankie De Jong was one of those, deep line playmakers. If you would have such a player,
Hmm.
like those are players like, like the way they, how would I say, the way they protect their defenses by, smart rather than, going into
Hmm.
tackles and flying. And this is just, about like reading the game, smart in the interventions, about ball retention, about control of the tempo of the game. I felt like he,
Yeah.
as you said, rightly pointed out, like, I mean, the point is obviously, to be honest, as much as I don't like Sergio Busquets, I have to admit and respect that he was one of the best in the business. You understand? So I'm not here looking for a replacement for him, but rather
Yeah.
evolving from his position. You get the point. So I feel like Barcelona are so
Yeah.
stuck in that, okay, this is what Sergio B has been giving us for years and years and years, and we have to get the same person to do the same thing again.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No, I think with Frankie, the thing was that at Ajax he had like Schöne and he had Van de Beek that could also help him in supporting the midfield. I think that at Barca doesn't have that unless it's for like Kessié, because when he plays as the lone pivot, you see a lot that Pedri is coming back and he's like helping him support that, but that's
Mhm.
completely wasting Pedri's talents, completely wasting it, and it's limiting his game a lot. And I think that Frankie, although he hasn't had long stretches of games where you could particularly judge him as the lone pivot at Barca, when he has played there, he's looked lost at times, and there's been huge gaps and holes in the midfield where Busquets would be. You know what I mean?
I think it's still a
Yeah.
question of if it is his natural position to play in.
Yeah,
I think he's
it's
trying to
very
play the
hard to find
position.
his best.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it depends on the players that support him more than his own talents in DM, which is a
But
different
but
question.
my counter argument is basically, Nico, that Busquets works very well as a deep lying playmaker kind of thing. But whenever he's called into a defensive duty, he is basically doing a half-assed job. Like he is not
Yeah.
exactly putting his body on the line.
I think there's two things there, Vinay. One is his fitness
Mm,
and one is his age. I mean,
Yeah.
his pace has fallen off a cliff, which
mm.
hinders his ability to chase the ball and get into those positions where it makes
He was never really a
so.
defensive-minded player, like the way Barcelona played kind of facilitated
Yeah, with
his
the tiki taka in defense,
defensive
it
deficiency.
made up for whatever deficiencies he had as a player. I mean, that's just my take on it, I guess. I mean, I come to you, Nico, for
But
a better analysis.
yeah, no, I agree. I agree, but I think even in that,
Uh, you're on mute, Nico.
Oh, Nico,
We can't hear.
your audio kept cutting out.
oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
It's a bit slower, but yeah.
It's
Yeah,
breaking
yeah, we
up.
can hear.
Okay.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine.
Okay. Yeah, so perfect. So what I was saying, I don't know how much you guys caught of that, but Frankie doesn't press or do as many pressures as people might think. And so I think it's a very overrated or overstated part of his game. I don't think
Mm.
he has that in him to be the defensive midfielder, especially because of that.
So this is my question, right? So Frankie De Jong, like, do you think his versatility is what is kind of holding him back? Because whenever I see De Jong, like he looks like the perfect number eight who can be the perfect, attacking CM. But how does Pedri has much more of a shout than Frankie De Jong in this team as it stands? Like, why is it that the case?
Why is it like that Pedri has become like, you mean like better, or what do you
I
mean?
mean, Pedri is at this moment in time basically undroppable, right?
Much more
Yeah,
instrumental to the
absolutely.
design of the team, I guess.
Yeah.
I think the thing with Pedri is that he's become such a vital part of the team that when he
Hmm.
doesn't play, it's probably one of, if not the most noticeable absence.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's not the
Mm.
same case with Frankie, although he does make a difference. Pedri is just the most game-changing player we have in midfield.
It's more of a question of Petri as a starter and then FDJ as a substitute later in the game.
Mm,
Mm.
could be, yeah.
But we need to kind of make a decision on who is going to be our CDM. Um, Busquets, I'm not going to feel safe with Busquets being my CDM because
No,
it is going to be a long night if that is the case. But De Jong, he is not a specialist CDM by any means. Cassie has played the position, has excelled in it. So I'm kind of in two minds about him. He hasn't featured extensively enough this season, though.
yeah.
I can't wrap my head around why he doesn't get more of a shout. But Tony Cruz is not a natural CDM. My call is obviously Chouameni, but yeah, I leave it to the rest of the panel to actually, chip in.
As a natural position, yeah, I lean towards Chalmany, but vintage Busquets any day, man. There's wherever there's an argument
Yeah.
for Busquets, I just feel sorry for the guy because he's been forced to play this long, or at least he's been outpaced, he's been outshone by his other teammates. It's a shame. He might just
But
hang up his
people
boots.
like him. You underestimate how many people were actually calling for Busquets to be the only guy who should be,
It
sticking around.
makes sense in a play in a control the play kind of way because the team around him is so young that for him to make the decisions would be the natural way of things. But the season so far has showed us that it's more or less not working.
Yeah.
So yeah, in this day and age today, if you give me these four, I would still lean towards Xiaomini. He's
Farouk,
I mean still you can still say that he's unproven, so on and so on. But yeah, this season Xiaomini so far. Anyway, I'll go to you, Farouk.
Yeah, I mean, the thing now becomes like, making this exercise is quite interesting because the point is you have to consider
it is
team
not
chemistry as
XI,
well.
it's 11.
Okay, making this 11 is it's a bit tricky because you have to consider team chemistry as well. So for me, I personally, like, for the kind of football I have in my mind, actually, in my opinion, like, the ideal six will be Frankie de Jong, to be honest. But I mean, the point is right now, if I play Frankie de Jong as a six at Real Madrid, we're gonna get overrun. We can't play with him as our six, to be honest. That's the thing. You need better players,
But
as you
this
guys,
team, you can just have this team that we have set up in mind.
Oh, go back to the formation, Farouk. Let's see. Let's see
I mean,
how.
that's the thing now. So, for example, if I'm having a team, for example, let's say I'm having a Frankie De Jong here, some and a midfielder with the engine of, for example, Bernardo Silva, a younger Luka Modric, I'd be very comfortable with that. You understand? So the point now becomes this: if I have to start, bringing in the likes of Tony Kroos, as Nick also pointed out, bringing the likes of Pedri into the equation, then I need to have something a bit more solid than what.
You know the funny bit. If you
Yeah.
start Frankie De Jong at DM, can you bring back the formation for a quick second, please, Farouk? If you start Frankie De Jong at DM, Alaba and De Jong are going to be playing 1-2s on the left hand side, left hand edge of the opponent box more than defense, basically. So picking De Jong would be suicidal on any day,
Mhm.
any day.
I mean, I don't know, man. I personally, would go with Frankie De Jong. I mean, that will be my selection, to be honest. Frankie De Jong will be my selection.
Fair point, Nico.
Yeah, no doubt for me, Chouameni.
I
Chouameni
mean,
every day of the week.
Oh,
so I guess
okay,
that's
then we
many
go with
DM.
Chouameni.
He's done a great job in replacing Casemiro, by the way. An amazing job.
The only damper on the whole thing is basically his price tag, which is
Oh yeah,
a bit
but
much.
I think in this market, it's as much as people like to hit on it, especially Barca fans.
Mm,
You won't like. There's the market for defensive midfielders is so low right now,
mm.
so low.
Yeah, it's a dying breed. It's a dying breed. It is something that is not easy to grasp.
Definitely
Being a
not.
defensive midfielder, doing the dirty work, it's not easy. It's not easy.
It's not a dying breed, man. If you do a scouting well, you get the players. That's the thing. Don't be a
You,
United
you,
fan.
you
United people come and tell us it's a dying breed. I sit here and I watch Brighton had 3 DMs in a single season.
I know, but how many of them can you call elite or elite? Like
Bissouma just moved. Bissouma just moved to Spurs.
to Spurs,
Chelsea and
bro. To Spurs.
Chelsea,
Come on,
Chelsea
fucking
and
wake up. To
Chelsea and
Spurs.
Chelsea and United are trying to beat about 60, 70 million for Moses Caicedo, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I know. Caicedo is amazing.
So
He's
that's
good
the
He's
thing.
too.
Like
good.
they're there.
He's
You need
good.
to find them. They're there. You just need to find them. The point is, like, we sit down and talk like, oh, Declan Rice, 150 million pounds. Oh, Chouameni, 100
Yeah,
million euros. No, that's the thing. No,
Dec-
not them.
Declan Rice, I
Do
don't
your
think is
job
a,
and
is a
see.
Declan Rice. I don't think is a CDM per se. He can work maybe
He's
in a double pivot. He can't do a lone
he's
CDM kind of
he's
thing.
he's a lone CDM for what's it called, for West Ham.
England, right? West
For
Ham.
West Ham. Yeah.
Doesn't he play a double pivot?
No, at England he played with what's it called, Calvin Phillips in the past as a double pivot, but for West Ham he plays as a lone CDM.
But that's the thing,
Fair
though.
enough.
There are defensive midfielders, but it's hard to find one that can be the lone pivot. It's very hard to find one, in my opinion.
Actually, I think Nico, to be honest, in my opinion, they've been there. Just you don't look in like we still expect the player who plays for France, the ones who play for Germany,
Yeah.
those ones and these ones.
That's true.
But I mean, when you look down, because I think there were times in the Premier League, for example, Leicester had the Nigerian Wilfred Ndidi, Everton had Idrissa Gana Gueye. These are players that could do a job.
But
And these are
do a job
very,
is
very
the
good
word.
players.
I'm talking about elite, Farouk. You have
That's what
seen
I'm saying to you,
Idrissa
man.
Gana
That's
Gueye
what I'm
go to
saying to you.
PSG and stink up the
I
place.
mean,
You have seen
man, don't
him do that.
don't bring Paris into the equation, man. Paris is not a place that you go in. I mean, if that's the case, then everyone at Paris is garbage. Then if that's the what you want to bring into the equation, then that's not it. Like Paris is not like you can bring up Paris for comparison. But in my opinion, it's just that if you do your scouting right and everything right, I think the CDMs are there. That's the thing. How did Chouameni come to light? That's the point. He also was from a lower league and all that, and then he got the chance for a big team, and he plays for France, and you pay 100 million for him. That's just the thing.
He just he just so sneakingly, put in a remark basically stating that League is a lower league. Farouk, criminal. Criminal, I shall say.
No, justified.
Justified?
I don't know, man.
We are gonna get cancelled, boys. But let's move on to the CMs. Farouk.
Please.
Okay, then I'm removing Chouameni, Sergio B, KCA, and Frankie de
Sergio
Jong.
B. I
Yeah,
like the way
he
how you
says
put it.
Sergio B, which is so
Sergio
weird, right? Like
B.
who calls Busquets Sergio B?
Someone named
Sergio
Farouk.
B. God.
Sergio B, my G. Yeah.
It sounds more like the name of a porn star rather than
Oh,
Hell
small
no, man.
small
Hell
town
no, man.
rapper. Yeah.
small town rapper too. I could say.
Why
Sergio
are the
B.
Gavis and the Pedris not showing up?
I think
Oh,
you
wow.
gotta put in their real name, like
Oh yeah,
well,
Gavi
Pedri,
is should.
Pedri is
Okay.
Pedro Gonzalez, I think.
Okay, just give me a sec. Let's find Luka Modric
When I search
first.
Gavi on Google, the second result is Gavi's mom.
I mean,
Yeah, because the whole PK thing.
Yeah, Pablo Martin Paez Gavira. That's his name. For Gavi.
Oh, there, Pedri at the
the
bottom.
third one.
I don't know why it wouldn't show up when you type Pedri though.
That's true.
What was his Gavi's name?
Pablo Pablo Martin. Pablo Martin Paez Gavira. God.
We said what?
Paez. Yeah. Yeah.
and it shows up as Gavi. Like, what?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you say what? Okay,
So-
people, let's go to voting.
The
Luka
big
Modric,
question.
there's no discussion. I'm not even gonna open the floor for discussion.
Yeah,
First,
no.
I'm gonna write Modric,
Yeah,
Bro, that is unfair though. That's unfair though. We gotta
and
pay
then
respect.
we can discuss the rest. I mean, I don't care about fairness right now, Sunaid. I have the control of this. So just you have.
Oh
to go
God.
with it.
Okay. Okay.
I'll give it to you. I was gonna say Modric regardless. It has to be one
So
of the two.
exactly. So that's the
Do
thing.
do
So
you think he has? Wait. Before we move on, do you think he has evolved from the year he won the Ballon d'Or? Like, has he stepped it up to another level?
Interesting question, actually.
I mean,
Yeah.
to Nico. I think it's to Nico, right?
It is to Nico, but Nico is having some
Alright.
issues with his mic.
I think I'm good. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
Yeah,
Go
we
on.
can hear.
Sorry, it cut out right when you were about to ask the question about Modric.
No, I was going to ask you, like, do you think, in your opinion, like, has he stepped up from his Ballon d'Or winning season? Like, has he gone up a couple of
yeah.
levels?
Oh yeah. I think especially when you consider his age.
Does it
it's
come as a
just
surprise
incredible.
to you how he's being consistent at 37, 38?
Yeah. I think even if you know how good he is and how good he always was,
Yeah.
it has to be a surprise to you that a 37-year-old midfielder especially, could be at this level at this age and time in his career.
How many more years? Last question regarding Modric. How many more years do you think he's gonna be at his very top? We can't hear you, Nico. Something's happening with his mic. What is happening? Yadu, any idea?
I have no idea, man. I think it's just internet though.
Yeah, I think it's in the network.
Yeah.
You guys
He's
hear me?
back.
All right.
It is back. It is back.
Yeah, no, I think for Modric, I think it's tough. It's really tough. You never know when he's gonna stop, but I think he could reach 2024. If he goes beyond that, I'll be really surprised.
That's true.
I'll be really shocked.
Good shot. Good shot. Good shot. Good shot.
Just one more thing before we move on from Modric. Apart from one game, he's been getting standing ovations from home and opposition fans. So that's fucking
He's
incredible, man.
incredibly respected. He's incredibly respected.
About time, right? I mean, about time.
Speaking of respect, Nico, I have a question for you.
What?
You can hear me loud and clear, right?
Okay, I'm scared.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have
I can hear you.
Xavi Hernandez, Andres Iniesta, Luka Modric, rank 1 to 3.
Ooh, the big question. The big question.
Wait. Come again. Xavi?
Xavi
Iniesta, and
Hernandez,
Modric.
Luka Modric, Andres Iniesta. Yeah, 1 to 3.
The big question.
Is that your ranking?
No.
You have to rank it.
Oh,
I'm just randomly naming 3 players. You're gonna rate 1 to 3.
Okay. Well, I can't say that I saw Xavi at the peak of his powers as well, but like I have seen several games, like footage back, and still I would have to say that Iniesta was my favorite of the 3, and I would say, because it's hard to do these without bias as well, but even without bias, I would say Iniesta, then Xavi, then Modric. But I think Modric fully belongs at that table.
That's a take you'd expect. That's a take you'd expect from
There
Blaugrana
is
TV.
no bias
It's
involved.
expected. Yeah, no. It's expected, I know, but I fully believe that he belongs at that table though, for sure.
You know what, Nico? That's the thing actually, that gets my blood boiling is that, when Barcelona fans like yourself say that, I do believe that he belongs at that table. Like, what table does he belong to? He fucking owns the table, man. Like, I mean, it's like you people, the thing is that I can understand, I can give you credit for like, okay, like, oh, I think Xavi is better than the two of them, or Modric is the best of Iniesta. I can agree with this. I have no problem with that, But the point is like people putting him that, oh, yeah, Modric is part of that. What is, like, I mean, it's like you're pitching him like, oh, let's add Modric to that as well. I mean, no.
I don't think it's a question of pity, Farooq. It's just the admission that, okay, yes, you put these legendary players and Modric is there. Yeah, add him to the list.
Nico, I absolutely forgot to, tell you that Farooq, if you would give him a chance, he would go for your throat, straight away. So I didn't let you know that beforehand. That's on me.
No, I get it. That's the rivalry. No, that's the rivalry though. That's the rivalry.
It is.
I get it. But the thing that sucks with many Barca fans is that most won't even admit that he is a part of that group. But you gotta admit it at this point.
Well, at least in 2022, we can have these conversations. Like when I was growing up, we couldn't.
Yeah.
Because it was a different vibe amongst both fans. But
there's also the question, there's also the national team question, where Xavi and Iniesta were thrust into those roles, and Modric had a better than mediocre team around him. So then it just made sense for them to achieve what they did in a logical sort of way. You put Xavi, Iniesta, and the other legendary Spanish team around them, and it just goes to show that's something that tilts it in their favor over Modric. But then Modric is Modric, man.
The World Cup, Euros, and the whole thing has a huge impact on
the story, on their legacy.
I think you can always debate greatness and legacy with like trophies and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I think that Xavi and Iniesta were just the better players for me. But I think it's also
Okay, fair enough. Fucking hell, man. I don't want
it's
to.
also a huge.
I'm not gonna sit through this, you know.
No, but we get your point, Nico. Yeah, we get your point.
But
And
it's also,
thanks, Farouk, for that.
it's a huge point that Modric.
Nico was such a nice
still-
guy
Yeah.
for like 90 minutes, but Farouk just flicked the switch in him.
Triggered
That
it.
is kind of making him, you know, retaliate now.
No, but I get his point, though. I get his point.
It is not gonna be an easy
Yeah, I don't know.
drive from here on. But let's get back to the current state of affairs. Toni Kroos, Modric, they are still going strong. You know, Pedri and Gavi are kind of the next phase of the Barcelona midfield. Who do you guys think is bound to start beside Modric? Is my question. I would personally, I would go for Pedri, just so that there is some sort of a balance. But the obvious choice would be Toni Kroos, considering he is in blistering form. As of late.
Kroos is in amazing form.
That's true.
He is in great form. I wouldn't be against putting Kroos. I think I would probably vote for Pedri because he has also been great this season. But I think
That
Kroos
was
is
what I
definitely
was
one
going
of
to
the
say.
best.
Yeah, he's been having a great start to the season, best so far, I guess.
Can you scroll down a bit, Farouk, so that we can see a bit more of the stats? Yeah, through balls attempted, forward passes, 144 for Kroos. I used to call him the side pass merchant, you know.
See, that's what last season Junaid trashed him so much in the podcast that Kroos just showed up in the end to just give the middle finger to Junaid.
Basically, I
It
was
was
shut
pretty
up.
good.
I want to be shut up, you know. I want to be humbled by my own players, you know. That's what we do this whole thing for. But,
kinky, Farouk. Kinky, Junaid, very kinky. Nice.
Come on, man. It is still daytime. It's still 2:45 over here. It is not the right time.
Let's move on.
Can you just go up a bit more? Go back to the top, Farouk.
Sure.
Assists. Modric has 2. Kroos has 1. They have 0. Chances created 13. Devin 11. 13. Pedri and Gavi has created the same amount of chances. That's interesting.
Look at the through balls, though. I'm a fan of Pedri through balls. They're pretty fucking amazing to watch.
Crossing accuracy 33.3%.
It's a huge part of his game.
There's a decade of age gap between them, minimum. So what do you expect? That shows, you know.
Pedri is 19 and Gavi is 18, right? I'm hearing an echo. Okay.
So yeah,
nice.
just look. I mean, I'm really excited to see how they develop together. You know, Pedri plus Gavi, an interesting and very dangerous partnership.
Farouk, do you rate Pedri and Gavi? And who do you think has the highest ceiling among them?
Honestly, I think Pedri has the higher ceiling. Like I've seen Pedri quite a number of times, and he's such an impressive footballer. To be honest, he's such an. I mean, he's a very young player, and the level of the responsibility he carries. Because the point is him missing for Barcelona, he's such a big deal. As Nico rightly pointed out earlier, like it's one of the most obvious things you would notice when Pedri is not playing for Barcelona.
Yeah.
So I think he's it's so interesting. And for Gavi, like the only thing I can say about Gavi is that a couple of times I've watched him either be it for Spain or for Barcelona, he's such an aggressive player, man. I'm always
very aggressive. For someone his size, I don't know how he has
exactly small package, big things.
I mean, he's always one move away from a yellow card or a red card or something.
Yeah, he's someone who is always on the edge. I like that about Gavi.
Exactly.
It translates into his play as well, you know. The stuff that he attempts as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but
So
for me personally, like I will also, go with Pedri for the higher ceiling. But if you're asking me for the player who I want in my team, just for the chemistry between Luka Modric and Toni Kroos, I will select Toni Kroos.
nah, man, I'm voting Petri because that would be an interesting matchup. Luka Modric, Petri. Damn.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
something I want to see. Yeah, I'm
Uh,
going Petri.
But from
yeah.
a purely physical aspect, them both being pretty fucking small, would be
Lightweights. Lightweights. That's why you have
yeah.
Choumeni there. That's why we put Choumeni in
Chouameni is the big guy,
to do the
big
stuff.
bad guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm voting Petri for
But
sure.
I just before we move on, I wanted to ask you one question, Nico. So Pedri, when he actually broke onto the scene, I was very salty considering the hype he was getting. But eventually, I got to know why the hype was there in the first place. But for Gavi, whenever I see him, the media kind of portrays him in a way that he is on the levels of a Fabregas. But whenever I see him and kind of look into what he's actually doing on the pitch, he is much more of a combative midfielder in the
Mhm.
veins of probably you could say a John Obi Mikel or
Yeah.
someone like Iaramendi.
Mhm.
Um, but like, do you think Gavi is as instrumental as Pedri is to this current Barcelona midfield setup alongside Busquets?
Mm, no, I would say definitely not. But that's
Mm,
not an insult to Gavi. It's just
mhm,
Pedri is on another level completely.
mm. Fair point, fair point. So even if you take Gavi out, it wouldn't hinder you that much. Is that what you basically?
Not as much as Pedri, but it would hinder us more than people think. I think people are
Mm.
really understating his presence in the team.
I think it's
Because
the partnership aspect of it as well.
because people used to be
Yeah.
very critical about Gavi and Pedri hogging so many minutes. They were questioning why Kessie and De Jong doesn't get much of a shout.
Hmm. That's why that's kind of clouding people's judgment a bit. That they want those players to play more. That they
Mhm.
kind of point out every single thing that they do wrong. More so
Ah,
Gavi, but
that makes sense. That
Yeah,
makes
more
sense.
Gavi. I
yeah,
mean, I think there's also the portrayal that Gavi is the golden boy for the team. So more cameras on
yeah, I
him
know.
than Pedri.
He's the poster boy. He's the poster boy, basically. So,
Yeah, props to
but
looking good, you know.
yeah, for his age, absolutely. But who is the guy we are gonna go with? So Farouk went with Cruz. I'm gonna go with Pedri. Yadu was
Pedri.
Pedri.
Yeah, I want Pedri to be in that
Nico,
team to see what we can do.
Yeah, I'll go with Pedri. I'll go with
Farouk.
Pedri.
I I
Okay,
I,
then.
I think you lost, but it's all good.
That will be an interesting
Wait.
partnership to see, you know.
Exactly.
um,
Left
yeah,
Okay,
let's
people,
wing.
how are we going?
um let's
Louis.
go let's go with the right wing
Okay,
first,
so be it then.
and save the heavyweights for the last two
Oh
positions.
no.
Yeah.
So on the right wing, I reckon it's Rafinha solely, right? Sometimes I've seen Dembele play right wing as well.
Uh, I would say Dembele. I would
Yep,
say
me
more so
too.
Dembele plays there. Even though I think Rafinha, I think we could take both into account here, but yeah, I
Hmm.
think Dembele is probably our best right winger.
But so like tell me who is your left wing um like nominee from your
Well, at the beginning of the season, I really wanted to see Fati on the left and then Dembele or Rafinha on the right.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Um, he hasn't been as bad as many Barca fans might overreact and say, but he just hasn't been. He hasn't looked very confident, I'd say.
Hmm. Yeah, he's coming off of an injury, right? So it is
Yeah,
always
that too.
gonna
That too.
take a while before he is back to full.
Go, guys, I have a question. I have a question.
Hmm.
Why is this guy known as Masur Dembele on the
Oh,
stuff?
he had the religion change after
I
his
think that's his
marriage.
middle name.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
Yeah,
so
Oh, wow.
he
he
had
was a
a.
Muslim, I remember, and then
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I think he's a Muslim still. but his marriage just that was one of the memes of the season. You know, Dembele after marriage, Dembele before
Yeah,
marriage.
he stepped up his game a
Whee!
lot after that.
Yeah,
A lot.
Responsibilities, man. A man is gonna bring bread to the table.
Yeah.
yeah, that
Yeah. So
Rafinha as
like
well.
Rafinha as well. Okay,
Mhm.
okay.
Rafinha as well.
But then if we're putting Rafinha here, then what happens to the other wing then?
Yeah, that's what I was asking you basically.
I mean, we can
Nico.
still we can still compare Rafinha's season.
The other wing.
I think let's
The other
keep
wing
Rafinha
we
for the
could.
other wing. I mean, there is no even need for comparison for the other wing. We're just gonna put Vini there, and everyone can just go, do
No,
whatever
yeah.
they want to do.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Okay, then let's add Rafinha here then. Since
Yeah, because like
Yeah.
wait. We need to actually
For the
be
And
like
it's a
on the same page, right? So Dembele is a right winger by trade. He is right. He is by pedantic. Is that the word? I forgot. But he can play either wing. But Rafinha is solely a right winger, right? So I want to know, Nico, like when both of them play, does Dembele play on the left wing?
yeah.
Okay, fine.
and
actually,
it's
I've seen games where like they
Uh,
both change
well,
though, like
originally
right?
Xavi was playing. Originally Xavi.
I think it's
Yeah. Yeah.
NHA for
Yeah.
NHA.
Originally.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
sorry,
yeah.
Nico. Please go
Originally.
on. Yeah.
Yeah. No worries. I think originally Xavi was playing Rafinha a lot more on the left wing, which is
Mm-hmm.
frustrating for a lot of fans because it limits his game a lot. I think. And yeah, no, as a whole, I think it would be better to do Rafinha on the right and Dembele on the left. But Dembele is better on the right, so it's kind of hard.
Mm. But
Lopez, Diaz,
Rafinha's
Belloni.
best position is right wing, right?
Yeah, for sure, for
And
sure.
Dembele's right wing too.
Yeah,
Okay. You
Okay,
can't find Rafinha.
I
It's
can find that man.
Rafael Diaz Belloli.
I think he tried
RAPH
searching it. Did
AL.
Belloli.
There you go.
yeah.
The first
My
one.
God, Squawka, man, come on, man, fucking fix up your, you know. Well, yeah, we are here. Look at the performance index of Rodrigo and Rafinha.
yeah. Well,
Wow.
Dembele is not far behind as well. Um, Valverde, you can see from his performance index that he is basically there to do a much different role than your traditional
very
winger.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you can see how much more impactful Rodrigo and Rafinha is. Like Dembele, although he's on 87, I've seen him fair few games where he just cross and inshallah basically and just hope for the best and just whip in
yeah.
cross after cross after cross. But as per the index, you see Rodrigo and Rafinha are much more, incisive to the way their teams play. Um, Minutes played,
Here's
Valverde
here,
has played the most, I think.
here's
Yeah.
a question. Here's a question.
Yeah.
Has Rafinha been having the season that has been expected from him? I mean, I know that the right wing had
He's pretty good. I don't think he has the GNA to back it up, right, Nico? But he has been very, very critical to how you guys play.
Yeah. I think the problem is that he has, like I said, been playing out of position quite a bit,
Mm,
and
mm,
playing on the left does limit his game a lot.
yeah.
But when he's on the right, he is very, very good. Very good.
Mm. He likes to always cut into his left and shoot. You know,
Yeah, that is one.
he has a very good shot on him as well. I didn't expect him to be that good with his shots, but he's pretty good.
the
Yeah,
stats
but
say otherwise though. Shot accuracy 25%. Is
oh
it
fuck.
because he's always playing on the left? Is that why the
Yeah,
shot
that
accuracy is?
is that.
Aha.
Yeah, that definitely has an impact
But
on it
but
for
they
sure.
constantly switch wings, right? Like Rafinha and Dembele all throughout the
They
game.
yeah, They do, but mostly it's Rafinha on the left for the
Hmm.
most
Okay.
part.
Okay. That is gonna be very bad, man, because I knew
Mhm.
him from his Leeds days that he likes to cut it on his left, and putting him on the left side is gonna completely negate his
Yeah.
game.
But
But
then
yeah.
here's
Well,
the thing, right? When you have a player like
finally
Dembele,
Xavi.
oh, sorry, yeah, Nico, go on, please go on. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no worries. I was just saying, finally Xavi against Inter, put Rafinha on the right and then Dembele on the left. So hopefully it
Mm.
continues like that.
Dembele is much more better on the left than Rafinha, right? He can do a better job.
Yeah, he's a lot more capable of playing in that position.
Mm. Fair point. Farouk, your thoughts? He's super quiet.
I think you guys can guess what I'm gonna say. Like, I think, in my opinion, I think Dembele is more suited to play on the right because I think that's where he caused the most havoc. And I think, as I said a couple of times before, I
Yeah.
think a fit and motivated Dembele can be one of the best players, if not the best player in the whole of La Liga.
Absolutely,
So
yeah, man.
yeah. And I mean, if you're asking me for who I would select, saying that, I will select Fede Valverde, 100%.
Mm.
Because although I don't, what I'm actually trying to understand is how does the opto performance index work? I don't know. Because one we can see is like, when we check the other, metrics, we see that like Fede almost like, goes ahead of everyone, like because the greens ones show the ones that he's better than the others.
Mhm.
And it shows a lot to understand, like, I mean, the shots on target, shot accuracy, conversion rate, and
Goals.
what is not. Yeah, like, I mean, it's all much more than that. So yeah. But then, okay, when we come to passes attempted, but then for chances created and assists, like both Dembele and Rodrigo edged out
I
in
think
that phase.
Farouk.
He's the
I
only
think the
winger.
reason
He's the guy who's playing out of position. He's the only guy to have a goal outside the box. Yeah.
here's the thing, right? I mean, with Valverde, I think the reason the stats look weird is because he starts on the wing, drops to the midfield, or
Field,
just
yeah,
start,
yeah.
or is basically a backup CB. Sometimes a backup DM. Sometimes he's a striker. He's a threat in the box. He's everything that you want him to be, which leads me to believe that they can't classify him as something or the other, which
Mm.
impacts his opta, whatever
He's a
score it is.
midfielder. He's classified as a midfielder. You
Oh,
see
there you go.
in my
It's written
scorecard.
on the
Yeah,
screen.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
He's not an attacker. But Nico, I wanted to pick your mind about Fede Valverde. Like he is the literal definition of a Swiss Army knife. Like, do you think he's he's rightfully getting all the plaudits this season?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think as great as he is, I also don't see him as like a winger in a 4-3-3. I
Yeah.
mostly see him as a right mid in a 4-4-2, which is what
Hmm.
you guys did quite a bit last season in the
Yeah.
Champions League. And when
Yeah.
Mhm.
I saw that setup, like before the game, you just know how good it's gonna go. You know that
Mm.
Valverde is gonna put in a good performance in that position.
Exactly,
Mm.
exactly. Yep. That was going to be my backup point as well. Not a natural right wing, so then that's yeah, that just blocks my vote from going to
Your thoughts
Valverde.
on Rodrigo too, Nico? What do you think about his season so far?
I think, yeah, I think he's been having probably his best start to the season, and it's tough because for me it's quite clear to see that Rodrigo's best position is left wing, but you
Yeah.
have Vinicius there. What can you
Mm.
do?
Mm.
So it's tough. I think he is quite limited on the right for me, but yeah, no, I think he's been pretty good.
Even with him being basically being played out of position, him being played with his handbrakes on, even then he's super clinical for someone his age
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
for someone like who basically had a peripheral role last season, who wasn't one of the main starters. Rodrigo, I think, like you rightly mentioned, has started the season off pretty
Hmm.
spectacularly. But yeah, for this unbiased combined Clásico 11, my pick is gonna be obviously Rodrigo, and I'm clearly biased. I'm a huge Rodrigo fan. I like his commitment, his attitude, his determination. I don't think he'll start tomorrow, but I'm gonna pick Rodrigo for my right wing. But you guys can chip in with your thoughts. Yadu, I'm gonna come to you first. Who do you think is
Yeah,
gonna be your?
Rodrigo is not my starter. That's the problem. I want him to come in at like 60 minutes and just change the game on its head.
Fair point.
Valverde is also not my starter right wing, not his natural position. Rafinha, I'm just not as impressed as I should be. I mean, I had a lot of expectations for Rafinha to just set the La Liga ablaze, which hasn't happened. So
It
I
has
would.
been only 2 months. We should be giving these
Oh,
guys
absolutely,
some
absolutely.
leeway.
Yeah, yeah. There's a
It is
lot
a
of time to
fucking
settle
packed
in.
schedule with multiple international breaks, a World Cup around the corner.
That's actually
It's too
true.
much.
That's actually
Mm.
true. Yeah, I'll cut
Mm.
him some slack, but then Dembele on his day over Rafinha any day. That's my pick. I'm going for Dembele.
Dembele used to be so looked down upon. I
No,
remember
that's the
just over a
injury
year
things,
ago.
man. That's the injury things. Everybody
I know,
knew
I
that
know.
Dembele on his day is fucking incredible. Man can shoot with both legs. His both legs are really, really strong. He's a dangerous player. The moment he feels like stepping up, which is a minor roadblock into him becoming the great talent that he is. Remember him at Dortmund? Class,
He was
absolute
really
class of
good.
a player.
He
Yeah,
was
yeah.
really good.
And then
But
yeah,
let me pose this question. This might be a bit controversial, Nico. Um, but as of recent times, especially the past 2 weeks with the Inter loss and the draw and stuff. Like I've read stuff on Twitter where people say, you know what, all this protagonist thing, the leader kind of thing, the main guy after Lewandowski kind of thing is maybe getting to Dembele's head a bit too much, and he's probably like letting all the praise get to his head basically. Like, have you ever felt that with Dembele and the way he plays sometimes
Sorry, can
recently?
you guys hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I cut out. I completely missed the part where you said you've been reading on Twitter recently.
Oh, okay. Basically, I've been reading on Twitter that the whole Dembele is the most important player after Lewandowski kind of thing has been getting to his head. Basically, all the praises and on the plaudits has been, affecting his ego, basically. And he has been trying to do everything himself in games. I've heard people moan about. So, like, do you think there is substance to it?
I think not as much as people say. I just
Hmm.
think that Xavi's system and setup for the wingers isn't as good as I'd hoped.
Yeah.
The amount of crosses that we're putting into the box is clearly an instruction from the
Yep.
coach. I
Hmm.
don't think because it's both Dembele and Rafinha. They both always constantly do it, just trying to find Lewandowski, which isn't the smartest thing, especially against an opponent like Inter with three colossal center backs. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Hmm.
So I don't know. Uh, I don't think it's gone into his head too much. I just think the team needs some time. This has also been like a very packed month for us as well. So
also you need somebody to step up to that leader role. Dembele,
mm-hmm,
maybe. You never know.
mm-hmm.
Give him the chance to show up
This
and
might
do
be his
his stuff.
season. This might be his season,
Yeah.
Like we have waited. How
Yeah,
many years did we wait, Nico? 5?
yeah,
4?
like 5 years. Yeah, I know, but
It's been
I'm
a
glad
long
he's
one.
finally because for years it wasn't just the injuries and the fitness issues. He was off the pitch still pretty immature and
Yeah.
irresponsible and still doing stuff that he shouldn't have. But I think when I think it started around the time when Coleman came in that he started to revamp his whole career, started to get
Mm,
back on track.
mm.
Marriage, man. Sunil, you should try it. Get your career back on track.
Come on, come on. Calm it down with the digs, bro. Okay, not gonna allow it. But yeah. So Yadu went with Dembele. Nico, who do you think is gonna be your pick?
Yeah, yeah, I'll take Dembele. I'll take Dembele as well.
Mm. Farouk.
Very well, Verdi.
Well, good shout. When he has an off game, we have an off day. The team as a whole. So he is
Yeah.
instrumental to how we play. But I guess the clear winner is Dembele as per the votes. Unfortunately, I hate to see his
No, no,
name
man. It's
on
not
the right wing
unfortunate, man.
position. He is
He's
good.
a
He's been good.
fantastic
He's
player,
been
man.
good.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong. He's been good. Like he has turned me into a doubter turned me from a doubter into, kind of a semi-believer.
Oh yeah,
He has so
a
much
lot of
talent,
us. Yeah.
so much talent, so
Here's the
much
thing,
talent.
right? With this team, the moment anything goes wrong, the first sub to come in will be Valverde. Just imagine that.
Yeah, that'll be insane. That'll be insane.
I
He
mean,
can slot in anywhere.
imagine a team where you sub in Fede, Rodrigo, Camavinga. Holy shit!
Ooh, insane.
Wow. Yeah.
Come on, let's get to the left wing. I think it is gonna be far easier than the right wing to decide on. But we have
A lot
Vinicius
easier.
from our side and from Barcelona. Who can we classify as left wingers? Natural left
Uh,
winger. Ansu Fati,
I,
right?
I would say, I would say Fati and Ferran Torres as well.
Ooh, I actually
Ferran
forgot
Torres
about
is
that.
a right winger by trade, right, Nico? No?
Yeah, but he I think like going into this season, we kind of
Yeah,
like the whole like everybody sees Fati and Ferran on the left. Like if we're looking at a
right.
squad to determine how much depth we have, we see Fati and Ferran as like the left wingers, Dembele, Rafinha as the right wingers.
Okay. Well, your 2 cents on Ferran Torres, man. Did City scam you again? This is the
Ouch!
question.
I think
Ouch!
I think last season he was overhated for the most part, but
Mhm.
he seems to be one of those players that is not very mentally resilient, as I said.
Mm.
I think he's let a lot of it get to his head and it's affected his confidence pretty bad. So yeah, I think for now he's not very good.
You broke off, Nico. Can you repeat what you said towards the end? This season?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I just think this season he's lost a lot of confidence and it shows in his game.
Mm.
He hasn't been he hasn't been good enough.
Mm.
Farouk, it's Vinicius space Jose. So Jose, and you should get it. Vinicius Jose, Paixão de Oliveira.
Yeah, Vinicius Junior. There you go.
There you
Ferran Torres, in my opinion, he is a guy. He's a winger who doesn't have the pace, but he has an eye for a goal. Like some
Yeah.
of the attempts at goal he takes up regularly is commendable. Like I'm pretty sure, like you said, he has a mental block during some games, but
For sure.
I think it is all down to confidence and him maybe feeling inferior to people like Dembele. I mean, that
Yeah.
surely comes into the equation as well. There is a player
Yeah.
there, but
Plus
60 million, boy.
yeah. It was definitely not worth the price. But you
Mm.
also have to understand that at the time we were in a place where I think at the time we were literally starting Luke De Jong,
Up
Yusuf
there.
Demir, Abde. Like it felt like the team needed a breath of fresh air and someone to put all our hopes into. France
Mm.
didn't turn out to be that guy,
Mm.
but the fan base did have a lot of hope in him being
go.
one.
Yeah.
But do you think Ferran has a future at
It's very
Barcelona?
tough.
Mm.
It's very, very tough. I think,
Mm.
especially with how much depth we have in the wings, it's
That's the
hard
thing.
to see it happen. But
Mm.
with more confidence, he could be a really good inverted winger on the left. A
Mm.
very good inverted winger on the left.
Nice.
As a
Um,
backup winger, a tough position to get into in Barca right now.
For sure.
Yeah.
wait. This is illegal. You can't bring in players who are retiring. Yeah. This is going to completely fuck up the algorithm, in my opinion.
For our audio listeners out there, Farouk has just put up Eden Hazard on the same platter as Ansu Fati, Vinicius Junior, and Ferran Torres, just to balance the scales and fuck us up further.
But
Damn, I
yeah,
thought he would have got more minutes. I thought he would have got more minutes with Benzema out. I didn't know he only played 98.
So here's the thing. He played in one game absolutely amazingly. I even posted in the group chat that okay,
against Celtic,
hey boys,
he had a
Hazard is
couple of
back.
goals.
Yeah. Hey boys, Hazard is back. And then the next game he shows up as a starter and just made me eat my own words. And Sunaid was just telling me, bro, you never should have talked up Eden. I was like, oh, sad.
Because I've seen this a lot many times. Hazard is like your first high school crush. She basically gives you the best days and she promises you the best, but then when it comes to the crunch days, you know what happens,
Who broke your
basically.
heart, Sunil? Who broke it? Oh my
It
God.
wasn't about just me, but I'm just telling you in general.
Nah, man, this was so specific, man. You were speaking from experience for sure, man.
I didn't date from high school. I'll be very specific, So
Anyway, moving on. Ansu
moving
Fati,
on, moving
Vinicius.
on, moving
I
on.
mean,
I
it's
wanted to
it's
ask Nico about
yeah.
Ansuman Fati, right?
Mhm.
His is a very curious case, plagued by injury these last couple of years, especially. He was given the number 10. He was supposed to be the successor, not to Messi. Nobody can succeed Messi, but to be the next pall bearer of the Barca values and promoting young talents from La Masia. Like, how do you think it has gone? Where do you think it has gone a bit wrong for Ansuman Fati? Has it just been the injuries? Has it been people like Coleman as well? Nico?
Yeah, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, my thoughts on Ansu is it's weird. I think especially this season a lot of Barca fans have seemed to lose faith in him, which I found to be weird because
Yeah.
seem to forget how young these players are. Everybody expects every young player to be like Pedri, to be as ready as Pedri was to step up to the big time.
Mm.
It's weird because Fati doesn't seem to be a player that loses confidence like Ferran. I just think that for some reason he hasn't seemed as sure of himself this season, which is weird because last season when he came back from the actual year-long injury, he
Mhm.
came in, scored, came
Scored a
in
goal.
again, scored.
I remember.
Yeah, he looked like the Ansu Fati we knew from the year before.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so I don't know what's happening this year. I think he will still have a pretty good season. I think he will.
Mm.
Mm.
A very, very exciting player. Like none
Very
other.
exciting player on his day. I actually felt he's one of the few players I can't seem to hate.
Same.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, yeah.
Barcelona, you can't hate
He's
Ansuman Fati.
he's so young and he plays so well. It's just yeah, it's unfair. The
Yeah,
the
he's
injuries that have plagued him
yeah,
are just unlucky, man. So unlucky.
Ansuman Fati
yeah.
is someone
He's a
with
very
so much potential. I think if hopefully he can stay fit, he's gonna have a very big say in how this season pans out for
I
Barcelona.
mean, we were talking about the peaks of players. I think
absolutely.
all factors combined, if everything goes right, Ansu Fati will have a greater peak than even Pedri could be.
Yeah, I think at the start of the 2020-21 season, I think that was
Mhm.
his best
Yeah.
with under Coleman. I think he was one of like the bright spots of that team. He was performing amazing game in, game out, scoring goals that you would never expect such a young forward to be that composed to finish that clinically. But the injury came and it slowed down his development a lot. But
Ansuman Fati reminds me so much of Rodrigo. He does the simple stuff
mhm,
very
Quite
well.
well,
He
quite
does
well.
he does the basics very well.
mhm,
He doesn't come across as the guy who wants to be too flashy. And Suman Fati is very
mhm,
effective from
yeah,
what little I've seen of him. But yeah, boys, I think it's time that we choose our left winger for the unbiased Clásico 11. I'm gonna go with Vinicius. There's no other choice for me,
Yeah.
honestly. I can't even.
Let's go to
yeah,
Farouk
Vinny.
for a new
He
Eden
might have
Hazard.
something
for a different
different to
opinion.
Yeah,
Eden
very
Hazard.
new.
Yeah, no, no, no. Don't even no. Just no.
Before the
Burger
season
King.
ends, before
Yeah.
before the season ends, we are gonna actually determine an equation to calculate burgers per minutes for Eden Hazard,
Oh, that's just sad. No,
so
don't do
that
that.
we can ascertain how he lost value over the years. Probably it might make more sense, then.
Yeah, I mean, Vinny, just before we move on, just let's just mention a couple of things about Vinny
But
Jr.
his injuries too are crazy.
Eden Hazard, right? Yeah, his fall from grace has been nothing but sad. I don't have the right word. Tragic, even.
Tragic, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Vinny Jr. Best season of his life. Purple patch. I hope it continues that way. Not just a patch, but a purple season, a purple career, and all of that. But yeah, Vinny Jr. for LW, man.
Thoughts, Nico, on Vinny? Like, did you
Yeah,
expect
no,
a
as
couple
much
of
as
years ago that he's gonna be the guy
no,
alongside Benzema
no,
to, you know?
no, definitely not. I think even I know there was many doubters in your guys' fan base as well. I thought that he was an outstanding dribbler. He could make things happen, but it's just he wasn't clinical at all, which is
Mhm.
why the jump that he made last season was incredibly surprising. Incredibly
Mm,
surprising. I couldn't believe it.
He
mm,
stepped up like when it mattered the most. Even without Benzema, we didn't look that much lost in the box this season,
Yeah,
which is absolutely amazing considering how much of
yeah.
a talisman Benzema has been on the team. So Vini stepping up, you love to see it, you know.
Yeah, definitely, to be sure. I do remember there was like I think you guys could recall the Clásico where Vinicius scored off the deflection off of the feet of Gerard Piqué. So
2019.
before that game, we were discussing with my friend, and he was like, "Oh, like Vini is such a good player, but I really don't care about him. Like, okay, let him just
I
do
had given
all
up
these
on Vinny,
things."
I'll be honest. I had given up on Vinny because I thought this guy would be, like someone like you're saying Maximan, like who can beat a few players but can't finish, So uh,
No,
Yeah,
I
but
mean that's the thing. Like you just have to credit. To be honest, like although we just we watch the games 90 minutes to 90 minutes. What happens behind the scenes, the amount of work these players put in. You understand? Although they earn the millions, so yeah, I mean it's that. So but I mean we have to also give credit that Vini actually sat down, worked on his finishing. Took the
mm.
tapes. Put in the effort and all that. So yeah, credits to him. To be honest, he deserves all the plaudits he's getting.
And Nico, another question. I need to ask you this because you represent Barcelona. So this whole commotion about Baila Vini Jr. and let him dance and all that, like, do you think in fucking 2022 celebrations should be policed? Like,
Well, it was unbelievable the amount of backlash that he was getting. I even posted on my story like that I support Vinny, and it was a disgrace. Even what happened after, ahead of the Madrid derby with the Atletico fans, it
yeah.
was disgusting. I am fully and always in support of players celebrating goals, especially dancing. No
Mm.
problem with it.
Really appreciate it. This is such a wholesome fucking podcast. We should be going at each other's throats more often. Probably the next
Nico's too
position.
nice, man. Nico's too nice.
The next
He's
position
such
is
a good guy.
It's not
wait, wait,
even.
wait, 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 wait. Let's not give out verdicts on Nico yet. Let's get to the next position. Then we can probably see who, who
This is
is who
where.
is calm, who is
This is
composed.
where.
Where it gets tough.
This is where this podcast, this episode is basically
Come down to this moment in
yeah.
time in history.
This is the final showdown. Let's see who comes out on top. I mean,
Yeah,
there's no debate for this season, but
Yeah, this season's
I'm
been
glad you guys.
depressing.
I'm glad you guys chose the wingers before the striker.
Nico, with the sly one there. Anyways,
Nico's been saving it, you know.
Nico's been quiet. Nico's been quiet. Let these guys have their fun. I have my Lewandowski. I have my Lewandowski. So there you go. The floor is all yours, man. Come on, take it away, Nico.
Yeah, to be
Walk us
fair.
through how big of a difference maker Robert Lewandowski has been.
Apparently not big enough since he's still gonna play Europa League next
I
in the
mean,
winter.
bro,
Uh,
low blow for Leo.
He's asking about a difference. When they played Europa League last winter, they're gonna play Europa League this winter. So
yeah,
what's
no,
the
not
difference?
not big enough. Not big enough. But maybe. Yeah, yeah,
Your video is
yeah,
frozen,
yeah.
Nico. Your video is
But
frozen.
maybe not in Europe, even though he did score twice against Inter. But But in La Liga, he has made a huge difference. Oh,
Your video
can
is
you guys hear
frozen,
me?
Nico.
No, it's
Like,
okay. I
Is it
mean,
all good? Okay.
like if you just switch off your
Um,
camera and switch it back on,
yeah, no,
probably
like
it might fix it.
Farouk said, maybe he hasn't made the biggest difference in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Should I?
Switch it back on. Switch
Can
your
you guys
camera
hear me?
back on. Yeah, we can.
Oh yeah, sure. Is that good?
yeah, we can hear you now. We can't still see you.
We can't
Okay.
see you. So
Okay, so yeah, like for oh, it's not on. It's not on.
no, the camera's not
You guys
on.
can see it.
No,
Oh.
no.
Oh. Can you see it now?
Not yet.
No.
That's so
Maybe
weird.
just go out and come back in
Um,
quickly if it's easy enough.
Should I leave the meeting and join back?
Yeah, yeah. Well, apologies for the technical difficulties, people. I mean, it is what it is.
Blame the internet provider, man.
Yeah, the internet sometimes like decides to like I've told Farooq, I don't know if Yadu knows, Yadu wasn't here,
Mhm.
but bro, for the Champions League final, right? 5 minutes before the originally scheduled kickoff, my entire house loses electricity. So there is no Wi-Fi, no light, no ventilation, no AC, nothing, nothing. I'm just stranded. I had to actually watch the final at a gas station nearby.
That's just sad, man. Yeah, Nico's back.
Bro,
Nico, we
hey,
were just talking about internet troubles and all that.
Oh yeah. All right, you guys can see me and
Yeah,
hear me
yeah,
fine.
yeah. We can hear you.
yeah,
We can see you.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Live and clear.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure how much you guys heard, but yeah, no. So I was saying he might not have made the biggest difference compared to last season, how we were in Europe, even though he did score a brace against Inter. Well, just like a touch on that, I don't think he was given the right setup to succeed in both Inter games. I think considering our opponent and the fact that they were playing three at the back, I don't think he should have been as isolated as he was, which is why I think one of Fati or Ferran should have started to be like that inverted winger to attack defense with him. But yeah, no, in La Liga he has made a huge difference. Um, he's he's been our top scorer by like miles. I think after him the top scorer has only 2 goals. So yeah, no, he's been massive in winning us points as well.
Also, top scorer in La Liga, by the way.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's also a natural leader on the pitch, much like
I
Benzema for us. You know,
yeah.
for
he
sure.
takes it
Lev-
from Bayern and then
Lewandowski.
just
One thing I used to hate about Lewandowski was that he used to shy away, especially in his earlier
Mhm.
seasons with Bayern. But then somehow he just completely became this talisman, like you guys were mentioning, earlier. He added a sort of aura to his game, which is undeniable at this point. When you when you whip in a cross to the back post, you know for a fact that your center back is going to be out jumped, out thought,
Mhm.
outclassed. In just a matter of a millisecond. I mean, his precision and technique on the basic stuff, the very mundane of finishes is a joy to watch. And I was always very confident that no matter what circumstances Barcelona would be in when Lewandowski is arriving, he is going to elevate them a couple of notches.
oh yeah, he's a
All
difference maker for
Yeah.
sure. He's a
like
presence in the box,
we
much
all
like
knew for a fact we all knew for a fact that Barcelona's European was were going to continue, especially since they were drawn into the group of death and whatnot. But in La Liga, you can clearly see how much he's being a difference maker. Like Nico rightly pointed out, probably in Europe, if they had a different alternative, like he said, Lewandowski wouldn't have too much pressure. Like I saw against Inter, man is always triple down, double down upon, and he barely has enough space. Even then, he scored a vital goal towards the end. That header was sublime, sublime, superb
Yeah.
finish. Um, Lewandowski, if he can stay fit, if Barcelona can take a bit of workload off him, I think he might be the reason you guys win La Liga, after 4 years.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Lewandowski is not to be taken lightly. I hope our defense can deal with him. Like, it's not going to be easy. Militao and Alaba, if they're going to start, they're going to be having a tough time, like keeping tabs on Lewandowski. But tell us your thoughts about Benzema as well. Disregard this season. He has been injury ridden for like a month at least
Yeah.
this season.
For
But
sure.
leading
For
up to
sure,
this
yeah.
season, like, did it surprise you how clutch he had evolved to become?
No. I think even like you said about Lewandowski, there was just that one point in time when something sparked in them and they
Mm,
became the leaders of their team. And that
mm,
happened with Benzema when Ronaldo left.
mm.
And he took his game to a whole nother level. And I don't think I would have ever expected him to have a Ballon d'Or
Winning season. Your voice is cut off. You cut off, Nico. Is it back?
No.
No, it's not back. It randomly cuts off. I don't know why. It's not because of his internet. This wasn't because of his internet, I don't think.
can you guys hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
no,
can
it's
hear
fine.
you
No,
now.
it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were telling us about Benzema.
Benzema and his Ballon
Yeah, no,
d'Or
so
pursuits,
yeah. Yeah, no. So I think this season he has had trouble with injuries, but you can't take away the year as a whole that he's had.
Mm,
It's been spectacular.
mm. Fair play, fair play. But if I asked you last year around this time, who would you pick as your striker? Would you lean towards Lewandowski even then, or would you choose Benzema?
Like choose as a striker for Barca or who's
Yeah,
better
for
for
Barcelona.
Barca?
Yeah.
Uh no, I would say Benzema. I would say Benzema, yeah.
Why
I think he
though?
would be
Like, do you think because he's better on the ball, a better link-up man than Lewandowski?
yeah, no. I think Lewandowski's link-up play is severely underrated.
Severely
Benzema
underrated.
is
I
so
must
much
admit that.
more. Yeah.
Mm, mm,
But
mm.
Benzema is so much more than just a striker, a number nine.
That's true.
He's completely different. He would be a lot better, in my opinion. Like he would fit a lot better.
Now the question is even more interesting. Who do you think is the better player? Hands down.
Um,
Like at this moment or over their whole careers.
Over their whole careers. At this moment would be a disservice to Lewandowski.
That's very tough.
You got to pick one. You got to
I
pick
think
one.
oh, that is really tough. Even I can't find an answer to that.
Nico just froze thinking about it.
Yeah, I think his internet is frozen, right? Yeah, his
Yeah,
picture
I
is
know, I
frozen.
know.
I mean, I've seen
rate the
Lewandowski play
Bundesliga.
here. Oh, Nico, you're back, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, you're back now. Yeah, go on.
yeah, no. So I think as much as I rate the Bundesliga, it is a lower quality league. So it's tough to say because Benzema has had a couple of seasons where he was pretty inconsistent around like 2017, 18. Um, so it's tough. It's really tough. I'm gonna, I'm just gonna go with Loa. If I have to go, I'm gonna go with Loa.
Lewandowski has been the better player, right?
Over the course of his career,
Mm,
I mean, I'm inclined towards saying Lewandowski as well. I mean, a lot of people, a lot of the media outside Germany haven't been paying attention to what he's been doing
Hmm.
consistently for a
mm.
lot of years. I mean, Bayern had Podolski go away and then Lewandowski fit into the system and just score, be the presence in the box since a long time. So that
Yeah.
that part has been criminally underrated. Lewandowski, people see his TikTok dances and they make trolls about it. Just doesn't yeah, it doesn't compute. He's a really good player. He's yeah, I think he's the first Yeah, he's the first Bayern attacker that I've been really, really afraid of, playing against.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Farooq, your
Yeah.
thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, man, the man scored 4 goals against us, man. So I mean, I wouldn't, I wouldn't, I wouldn't put anything past the man.
Uh, I
Yeah.
thought you
He's
would
been a very,
disagree. Fucking hell. Anyway,
he's been a very, very good player. But,
I
but,
don't want to
but,
admit
but,
it. I don't want to admit it. I
but,
think
but,
Benzema is the
but,
better player
but,
overall.
but Lewandowski is a very, very big diva, actually. So that's the thing, like, at Barcelona, whereas, I mean, I
Yeah.
personally, I'm still just waiting to, because, for example, I think Yedu knows this very well because like he lives in Germany, so he knows what the media is like in Germany. Like Lewandowski actually is not a player who you ever feel like he's on the same page with the fans.
Yeah.
You understand? He's like the player who's like feels like they're here to, because I remember like he lost the what do they call it? I forgot whatever they call it in Germany, but the golden boot
Yeah.
to Aubameyang by 1 goal on the last day, and literally said that they are not helping me win this. You understand? Like it's like he believes that the team is at his service. Even when he was gonna leave Bayern, he left Bayern as a legend and everything, but he left,
That's
by
yeah,
destroying all the
yeah.
relationships and what is and what is not. So I mean, he's still that kind of player. Like he's not the kind of player where his teammates will die for him. No,
Yeah.
because he always, carries himself like, okay, these people are here to serve me.
I mean, it used to
Yeah,
be
so
like
I mean,
that when he was much younger. He's much of a leader now.
nah, man,
much
I'm
of
not talking about. I'm not talking about much younger, man. I'm talking about after, the
the
treble and all
transfer.
that,
The
man. I think
transfer, yeah, the transfer was all kinds of fucked up. It was a media circus, but
nah, man. I'm talking to you about when he was at Bayern. He lost the golden boot on the last day of
Yeah.
the season,
yeah,
and he
yeah,
was
I
like,
remember
"My
that.
teammates are not finding me." Even his move to Barcelona, it was like he just burnt all the bridges, with. Even though I know like Semi Hazovic, or how do they call him, and Khan also, they're also amateurs at the business, but he just destroyed everything. So I mean, he's, in my opinion, he's a very big diva. I mean, right now obviously Lewandowski is better than Benzema, but I mean, I don't know, man. The man was also robbed of a Ballon d'Or, so
But
I
I
would say
actually asked,
just
sorry about interrupting you, Farooq. Like since you mentioned the diva thing, it has been stuck in my head for quite a bit. I've been dying to ask this to Nico. We have actually asked this to the other guy. We did the pre-season preview, remember? So Nico, I just wanted to ask you, like, when Barca goes after a player, they seem to act very weird, and they seem to be the ones that are involved in a lot of drama. Like, why do you think that is the case? Is he there?
Like you
Nico?
mean the player is involved in a lot of drama?
Yeah. Basically, you saw how
Can you hear me?
Lewandowski was
As
when
in,
Barcelona
I
was
think
tapping him up,
forcing transfers,
forcing a move. Yeah, basically.
doing the whole not showing up for training, that kind of part. It seems to be a very in the media linked to a move to Barcelona. Why do you think the media has
Yeah.
that? I think that is the question.
Yeah. No, yeah. Yeah, no, I think like the whole saga of Loa leaving Bayern was crazy. Like I didn't think he would destroy his relationship with the club and the team and the fans that fast, especially. But
Mm.
I don't know. I guess it's the same for Barca and Real. Like you guys saw with Hazard how he dropped everything to come to you guys as well. When these two clubs knock, it's a different knock.
Yeah,
Players drop everything.
the pull is just on a
Yeah.
different level, man.
Even Thibaut didn't show up for training. I think for entire preseason or something. I still remember.
Yeah.
But I guess that comes down to who do we pick. On current form, I gotta give it to Lewandowski,
I
man.
think
Gotta be.
it's Lewandowski, man.
Yeah.
It's no questions asked at that point. So yeah, Farooq,
Yeah.
please pull up the
Farooq.
formation, please.
reluctantly.
And there you go.
You see how I'm typing one after the other. My fingers cannot type. I,
SKI.
it's SKI, right?
A W. There's a W after O. No, Lewandowski.
Lewandowski. Yeah, that's the
Is it
one.
right? I think so.
There you go, people. That's our unbiased 11 for the
Unbiased 11 for the
Clásico.
people listening on audio platforms. In goal, Andre ter Stegen,
Ooh.
left back Balde, left centre back Alaba. This formation is a 4-3-3, by the way. Right centre back Militao, right back Dani Carvajal, lone DM Chouameni, LCM Pedri, RCM Luka Modric. On the left wing, Vinicius Junior, right wing Dembele, and our focal point in attack, Robert Lewandowski. And I guess rightfully so. This team looks pretty solid. It has a very good blend of pace, aggression, um, youthful exuberance, and all the experience you need in the world. Alaba is a winner of 10 consecutive league titles. Modric is a Ballon d'Or winner. Lewandowski is a supposedly Ballon d'Or winner.
He's a winner
Vinicius
in
Junior
my
and
mind. I
Dembele.
mean, 2020
Yeah.
Ballon d'Or, it's Robert Lewandowski. There's no doubt.
Vinicius Junior and Dembele, you could say the most informed wingers on the planet
Yeah.
at the moment. Balde, one of the best young wing backs in Europe. Militao, Alaba, Champions League winning partnership from last season. Carvajal, season veteran. Modric, Chouameni, one of the best DMs in the world at the moment. This looks like a strong team,
Yeah, this
This
could win the
wasn't a
world.
team.
This could win the world, you know. Yeah, this could be the
This
hit team in the world.
I wouldn't say so, but
Yeah.
that is a bit far-fetched because I should also stress the fact that this isn't the best unbiased El Clásico 11, especially because Barcelona has so many people missing due to
Mhm.
injury.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
And there
big,
is a
big, big
lot
loss. Yeah.
lot many players that actually need to be integrated into their system, like Kessie and Christensen and people like that. So this, I'm pretty sure this lineup will be so much more different by the time the reverse fixture comes around. Um, and hopefully we can be doing something similar with Nico again.
That'll be
Um,
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
man. And then we can look at performances in this El Clasico, give a
That'll be more
post-match
than
combined 11. There's a lot of
that'll
stuff
be
we could
more
do in
than
the
one.
future.
Yeah,
Yeah, man, for
So
sure.
for
any
sure.
final thoughts, people, before we kind of wrap this up?
Let's win, and let's win, man. That's just it. We're in the winning business.
Yadu has this thing up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For the audio listeners at home, if you're new here, please subscribe. Please get us to 1K. And for the people on YouTube, we have 262 right now. Please consider subscribing. If you like the content, please let us know. Leave a like. Tell your friends. Tell your enemies. We don't care. Come fight with us on Instagram. We appreciate that too. And Nico from Blaugrana TV, he has a much bigger platform than us. So if you're Nico's fans, just please come say hi to us. We appreciate it.
We're very friendly people. Don't worry. We don't come with knives. We're very, very friendly people.
It wasn't
Usually,
the
As you can
case.
see,
It wasn't
usually.
the
as you
case
can see,
earlier.
Nico is still alive. We didn't kill him yet.
Come on, Nico, your honest opinions
But yeah, no,
on the panel. Come on.
Yeah, no, it was great.
There is a gun to your
It was a
head.
lot of fun. Thank you guys for having me. Yeah, no, but it was really fun. I like talking with rival fans before games to see like everybody's thoughts and opinions. So it was fun to do it live as well.
Yeah, man. You should have a podcast. I mean, you speak really well. Your ideas seem really well put together, and I can see the
Thank
output
you,
on the
man.
Instagram page. You're what
Thank you,
90
man.
to 93
Honestly,
k strong. Holy shit,
I was
man.
in two minds when he mentioned he hasn't done a podcast prior to this, but
Yeah, he's so well spoken. It's
Hopefully,
amazing. You
yeah,
should probably
thank you, man.
get into one of the
Hopefully,
panels. Yeah.
yeah.
we
Hopefully
can, like,
one day.
if Nico is down, we can be doing a recurring thing, like sometime monthly or fortnightly if time allows it. We should
Time,
be doing.
Yeah, it could
schedules,
be.
luck. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That
Did
could
you
be
just
done.
say luck, Yadu?
I would.
Yeah. Please, Nico, please go on. Don't let him cut you off.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no worries. No, I probably would have started my own podcast by now, but I just started with college now as well, so it's gonna be a bit
Mm.
tough for me time wise. But I would be more than willing to come back on an episode.
We'd love to have you
Appreciate
again,
it.
man. Yeah.
Appreciate it, man. It was really wholesome, to basically give you your debut over with us.
Yeah,
But
thank you.
hopefully it'll be a good game tomorrow, and there I believe that it wouldn't be the case, but I hope there wouldn't be any animosity, especially after the game tomorrow. And it isn't dictated by the fucking ref like it is usually, you know,
Yeah. Hopefully not.
just good
They
football
just
on display, like
Yeah.
people appreciating each other's talent, it is at
for
the
sure.
Bernabeu. We needed more than you guys do. And also, before we go, I read something along the lines where Rafinha said the pressure is on Real Madrid to
Oh,
win. Like we are pretty confident that we
yeah.
are going to get the job done. I mean, it's big talk, big talk. Rafinha has ran his mouth
No, yeah.
earlier. I just hope we get the job done to kind of bring him back down to earth.
Yeah.
But all this
Yeah,
adds to the spice for
yeah.
sure. For sure. For sure.
A
Yeah, no,
normal, a normal day of El Clásico, you know.
I get what he's I get what he's saying though, because yeah, I get what he's saying though for sure, because the pressure is obviously on us after leaving the group stage. But it's still like it's good to see that he's still pretty mentally strong, and
Mm,
Mm.
he's going into the Clásico with a clear head.
mm, absolutely. Well, I think it's a wrap. This is our official lineup for the unbiased 11 for the El Clasico tomorrow. We'll be uploading it on our socials. Please give us your feedback on how, in a real life setting, this team is gonna play out. Do you think it's too defensive? Do you think it's too passive? Do you think it's too aggressive? Do you think having Pedri and Modric together is going to completely make our midfield, be overrun? Or do you think their creativity and their, silky feet can get us out of trouble more than, what it looks like on paper? Yeah, any kind of feedbacks, insights into this 11 is much appreciated. We'll be uploading it on our Insta, on our Twitter, on Facebook, the lot. Also, uh, consider subscribing to Nico's Instagram page, Blaugrana TV. Please consider following them. They post everything related to Barcelona, news updates, transfer updates, everything Barcelona, basically. He run a very dedicated page, which which is unlike most fan pages, I shall say. So yeah, please give him a follow if you're a Barca fan. Also, if you're a real fan, if you want to take the piss out of him sometimes, but yeah, I'll leave that up to you. But huge shout out to our partners on Instagram, Real Madrid Committee. Please check them out. They have been with us through this journey all along. Check out Memento Madridismo. They'll be coming out with a post-match reaction for the Femenino game against Alaves tomorrow morning. Yeah, like there are partners on Reyes Blancas podcast. Check them out. Link is in the description, people. As always, like and subscribe. It helps with the algorithm. It helps us do this thing more often and reach more people, honestly. And yeah, love for the love. Hala Madrid.
Hello, Madrid.
Hala Madrid, and we'll go to Nico for the closing remark.
Come on, let's
Well,
hear it.
Forza
Forza Barca.
Barca, I guess.
Let's go!
Forza Barca, I
And
guess.
there we ended, guys. Thank you for tuning in. See ya. Bye.
Nico, the internet made it far worse than it had to be. I would like to apologize for all the,
Yeah.
making you go out and come back in and whatnot. And also taking this long. It's
Yeah,
been 2 hours.
my apologies.
No, I want to apologize, honestly,
No, yeah, my
because
apologies too. Yeah. No, no worries.
Nah, man, it's okay.